So I've noticed this for a couple weeks in a row. I know we haven't met in a while, but think back to previous sessions. It always seems to me that our pre-session banter is far more interesting than whatever it is I come up with to start the actual session. And sometimes I kind of sit there wondering, is like, maybe I should just start recording pre-normal time, use that, and just not say anything. Because this is a far more interesting conversation than what we're going to get.
Not today's, though, because not some moments where...
Not today's. Inappropriate, not today's.
A bit controversial.
I was behaving.
That's true. Yeah, surprisingly, you were the most mild one.
See?
But, yeah, that's the reason, is because there's some more personal stuff in there, but I sit there and I'm just like, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. It's a shame to let it go to waste.
Well, you should start recording right away then, and if anything...
Just bleep out the names
and banned.
Places.
Yeah, and banned. No more allowed.
No.
People in, I recently got a new job, we were talking about that, as well as specific people that we all know related to that new job.
Yeah, he was defaming his employer and his coworkers.
Viciously.
That's a lie.
Viciously.
That's a
For the record, that's not true.
Can I have anyone else support me before one of my
Nope, I heard it. It was the worst throwdown I've ever heard. Like, I didn't even know some of those words. I had to look them up.
Oh my.
I'm a pretty worldly guy. I had to look them up.
We have learned if there's a dirty word, you know what it is.
Yeah, you know what it is. You caught bad words from the names of people in this adventure that I never knew.
Okay, but they used the word! Like,
Thank you. Okay.
I'd never heard of it.
It's just because you're ignorant doesn't mean that it was in fact.
I didn't. Okay.
I have to imagine there was a sweet person that wrote this adventure path that had no idea what that meant at all. It was like, I'm gonna name my character that. Like, okay.
Yeah, it'd be somebody like me. Like, I probably couldn't tell you how much stuff like that goes just way over my head.
Yeah.
With you, except that there's a team of writers and editors here on this.
Yeah. Nobody caught that. Nobody in Paizo caught that and was like, maybe you don't use that name. Maybe you don't use that word in the name.
It means it was intentional.
Yeah. Means they wanted it to be that.
That or Paizo as a company is very innocent.
See, and that's all I remember. I don't even remember that person's real name. All I remember is the one specific part of that name.
To be fair, you never actually encountered that person. So
that's right.
Terribly memorable.
Yep. Right. Yep. We don't remember them because we never actually met them. That's right.
Yep. Well, anyways, it's been a while since we've played, and I was wondering, so normally I do the recaps, but I was wondering, anybody else want to take a shot at reminding us what happened 7 years ago when we last played?
I remember. Oh, yeah. Okay, so
we took back the fort. We killed the green dragon.
Okay.
Right? Wow. Yeah, we took back the other fort. Oh, we killed the black dragon. Right. Then we killed the green dragon.
We leveled up to level 8.
We went back in time to fight the green dragon from decades ago.
Exactly.
I have the wrong adventure path open, I think.
Well, but in all seriousness, we started like mid-bad position at Fort Travale, and we were trying to get out of Dodge, going across the trapped bridge, and thanks to some very clutch suggestion, will save rolls, and suggested courses of action, we were able to get away. Oh, and Frampton disabling the bridge, and pretty much everything just went in our favor for that in order for all of us to get out, because I was certain somebody was going to die. But we made it out, we ran away like cowards, and came back to Misthome, and then spent the rest of the session talking to people.
We ran away like cowards.
AKA, Aaidan talked to people.
Alright! Bada bing, bada boom! Aaidan's the Ranger now! Always has been!
Excuse me, he hasn't lost a limb yet, so...
That's true.
One more thing before before he becomes a ranger.
He has to lose an arm, go blind, lose a leg, something has to be done.
It's like in the Assassins when they have to cut off their finger. It's just mandatory.
Like
Kieran's like, no, I'm not doing it.
And like Jessup hasn't revealed to us yet which extremity he's lost in order to become a ranger himself. But I'm waiting for it. I know it exists. Like,
his butt.
Like his hands.
I was going to say,
his butt. That's right.
His butt cheeks.
Yeah, he's missing a butt cheek. That's right. I apologize. He's missing a butt cheek.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but we did have some good conversations, and Aaidan did become a ranger, and then we were going to have a council the next day, I think, to determine where to go from there.
Yeah, I think we were pretty much on the course to skip ahead to the next morning where there was going to be a council with the four of you and select members of the community to discuss future actions. And I was going to ask the group which members specifically they intended to be a part of this council.
The spirit of Dahoud Wall.
May he rest in peace.
Pieces. Oh, sorry.
Too soon.
Too soon. Too soon. It's been months, but too soon.
Yeah, so obviously we had Auburn, probably Jet, probably Rena.
Probably Kining, right?
Oh, definitely Kining.
Yeah.
I think Aaidan did invite her.
Did he? I don't remember.
No, you didn't. You invited Veld. You invited Veld if she can make it up the ladder.
Correct.
Yes.
We'll build her a flight of
Yeah. Maybe it'd be nice if somebody would build some stairs around here.
That was hilarious. Let's see.
Yeah, so basically like the people that have been there from the beginning, and then we had Sirio and
Basically,
Sirio.
every ranger, every
Martelo.
who has had a previous job, so we had basically the Ministry of Welfare who handled the food. We had each of the different people handling different tasks. All of those people that had done something. Like Raina was in charge of the hospital, pretty much. Each person that had a responsibility was summoned. Kining can be there, that's fine. Veld can be there. La Rosa and or Tydell, since they seem to be handling defense mostly. Li Fang, if he wants to be, if we thought that was a reasonable choice. Otherwise, all of the other unnamed NPCs that exist doing stuff can just remain unnamed and exist doing stuff.
Okay.
Unfortunately, probably one of the merchants should be there, but I don't want them to, so I won't invite them.
I mean, Jet is kind of spearheading that side of things herself anyways, so I currently have Auburn, Jet, Rena, Veld, Sirio, and probably Tydell.
You Cyrano every time you say that. Every single time. Cyrano.
Yes.
Okay.
The council. Isn't this fun? We've got a board of directors, guys.
Oh boy.
So, with that, you all spend the night there after familiarizing yourself with everybody, the changes that have gone on throughout the Misthome caves here.
I didn't have
and
a screen scene with Jet, thanking her for everything and all that kind of stuff. And
yep.
He would have been the one to invite her.
Yep.
Steamy.
Not steamy.
Steamy.
Screen, yes.
Steamy.
Throughout the night, it's fairly calm. Those of you who sleep nearer to the entrance, you hear light peals of thunder outside, but for the most part, it's fairly quiet. You get a good night's rest, probably one of the better night's rest that you've had in a long time. In the next morning, the 10 members of Misthome who will be partaking in this council meeting arrive in probably the center inner cavern here, either there or in the misty room, or perhaps down below. I don't know if there's a particular room that you guys would have designated as the meeting room.
Let's go in the misty room, yeah? I like that.
The misty room.
The rainbow misty room with the well.
The vision room, yeah.
Visions.
Okay.
The visions.
So the 10 of you meet up in that room. Most of the participants are fairly punctual on their arrival. Jet is there, one of the first ones there. Rena's there pretty much right on time. Auburn's there right on time. Serial is maybe a couple minutes late. And Veld, you can hear her down the corridor as she slowly comes around and enters the room as well. And her first comment is like, maybe some sort of like pulley system.
I understand, Veld. We'll get it. Will be the first thing. All right. Someone will even write it down in the minutes. Don't worry. We'll talk about it. All of the amazing sounds, by the way, that you're listening to, and all of the council sounds will be provided by Siren's team.
The council sounds.
Yeah.
Get a council sound.
Get a good gavel, or get a good crowd of disapproval, like whoa.
Murmuring.
How many people are at this council?
I don't know. Obviously it's a transparent council, so it's open to the public. People can sit in and listen if they want to. We're all about transparency.
Oh boy.
It's just Jessup casting ghost sounds nonstop. Cantrip just keeps throwing out those mumblings.
Mumble.
You hear that?
He uses 3 expenses of the extend meta magic rod on 3 cantrips of ghost sound.
That is the perfect use of that rod.
I thought that was the only use of that rod.
Took us like 3 weeks to identify what it is. What do we use it for? Murmur.
So once all 10 of you have arrived, Auburn will kind of look to everyone, and then in the direction of you 4, and she will say, I think we're all here. I don't know who wants to start things off.
Awkwardly look around the room for someone to take initiative. Are you excited to play 6 characters at once, Jason?
Surprisingly, only one of them is vocal. The other 6
Kieran runs the full initiative.
Silent observers.
Pulls out his weapons. Like,
No, initiative doesn't have to be combat, okay? Aw.
Oh yeah.
Kieran, delay.
Delay.
Oh, is the idea to roll initiative to see who has to start the meeting?
Oh no!
Why not? That sounds great. Whoever
looks like Kieran has to roll.
Oh yes,
Perfect.
Don't speak up all at once.
I wasn't prepared. I didn't write anything down.
Well, impromptu government.
You've literally talked to everybody else here.
Yeah. So, long story short, Aaidan will do his best to flounder, because obviously he's never done anything like this before. But he's going to thank everyone who came, specifically thanking Veld. I know that it was hard for you to get here, especially Veld. I'm sorry about that, and we'll talk about it. But I think that we should do our best to decide together what we at Misthome should do. And I think that there are lots of things that we should accomplish. And then he'll just go around basically getting a report from each person. So he'll ask Jet, like, how are our stores of food and supplies? How difficult would it be if we had to, like, bundle things up and relocate, right? Assuming we had to in an emergency situation, could we do that? He'll ask La Rosa and Tydell. He's aware of the owlbear situation, right? When was the last time that they were spotted? How many different owlbears have they noticed? Do they encroach? Do they cause problems? Ask them if they've seen any goblins coming this way. Or ask Reyna about the sick, so on and so forth. Getting input from every person to get a general report of how things are.
Okay. Yeah, so you'll go through and I'll respond with each of them kind of in turn. You're asking Jet about the supplies, and she would respond and say, things are alright. They probably could be better, but for the most part we're getting by. Nobody's starving yet. That's a good thing. We've got plenty of water thanks to this cave here, this fountain that we've got. So that's not a problem. If we were looking to relocate, it probably wouldn't be too hard. I mean, we don't have a whole lot in the in the possessions area. So with the, I think, 40 of us or so here that, live around these caves, we could probably do pretty well taking everything that we need at least and heading out. And that's kind of her report. You're nothing critical, but it's not like you're in an abundance of food or anything like that.
But she also leaves the impression that if we had to relocate, it wouldn't be overwhelmingly difficult to transport what stores we do have.
Correct. If you wanted to kind of like do a mass migration, it could be done. Yep. I think next was it Tydell that was the next one you mentioned? He would perk up and he'd say, "Oh yes, the owlbears, they attacked last, I think it was 3 days ago now, 2 days before you guys arrived. During that attack, I think there were 2 of them. The original attack that you guys mentioned when you came back, you said there were 2 then as well. We didn't kill any of the ones that attacked us while you were gone, so that leaves us with 4, 2 that you've killed, 2 that got away after attacking us. My sister said that she's seen a few others around while hunting in the general area, maybe a mile or 2 out or so. We haven't been counting them individually until recently, but there's a handful of them. We've got a pretty good idea of what direction they're coming from. So if we wanted to head out there and try to put an end to it, so to speak, we could probably mount some sort of a fence and deal with that. At the moment, the wall that we were setting up got mostly broken down on the one side, but we can work on repairing that for what it's worth. I haven't noticed any hobgoblins in the area. Haven't specifically noticed any goblins. There were a few figures that we noticed out in the distance that it looked like it was some creatures riding something, but it was too far. His forest was too dense. We didn't get a good look at them, but that was a ways out, and they weren't heading in this direction, so we haven't seen them since. So I don't think that's any threat, but we'll keep an eye on it for now.
Aaidan will nod, and then he'll ask Sirio, basically, like, if they do need to mount an attack or were pressed to defend themselves, if he's made any progress or knows about roughly how much of our population of 41 we determined is the population of Misthome?
Including the 4 of you, Herge and Cleolash, there's 41.
So of the 41, how many are combat ready, right? How many would be competent fighters if needed to be called upon?
He would respond with kind of like a half grin, half frown. He'd be like, competent? Not many by my standards. I'd say Tydell, he'll last, his sister will last, Leafang will do fine, the 4 of you, obviously, myself. I don't mean any offense, but Auburn is a bit... she could maybe hold her own, but it would be tough for her, given what I've seen. And she kind of nods, she understands, she doesn't take any offense at it. You'd say, beyond that, there's half a dozen that would be passable, that they've at least held weapons before, enough that they know how to swing them, and maybe another half dozen, another 10 or so that, given a couple days, I can whip them up to be, I mean, they're not going to be anything fantastic, but they'll be alright, I guess. I mean, you've got plenty of strong people here, farmers and whatnot, plenty of strong people that are just not trained, and that's going to take a little bit of time, but we can work on it.
Okay. He'll nod, and then you can go on to Reyna, ask how many injured we have.
And probably the most optimistic of the reports, Reyna pretty much concludes it. Yes, at this point, pretty much everybody's good to go. There's a few that are still have some minor lasting effects from the diseases that they've had when you brought them to us, that other group, but for the most part, everybody's fine. We're looking pretty good in terms of injuries and whatnot, and despite the owlbear attack, Li Fang's doing fine now, so I don't think that there's anyone that's a worry in that regard. And you mentioned maybe moving at some point. I don't know how soon you meant that, but we probably wouldn't have any issues. Nobody's unconscious or anything. Everybody can at least move around.
Okay. Yeah, he'll shrug and say, I don't know when the best time is, but I'm not sure how long that we can stay here in Misthome. And then he'll kind of open it for input from the other 4 people for basically brainstorming ideas. He'll give a report on what happened at the fort, that he thinks that there might be some survivors there, although it's been a week now, so the gods know what's up with them. He'll give what they've done since this couple of forts, basically fill the rest of the group in with what he's already told the rangers and they're privy to, and then say looking for ideas, basically.
And Celio mentioned this once before, but he would mention it again when you talk about the prisoners. He would say, again, when you found me, I was with a bunch of others that had died in the prisons there in Fort Riston, but we were there for multiple weeks, I should think. The hobgoblins, they don't just execute prisoners, they let you go for a while. I think their idea is to try to break your spirit and then use you as slaves. So I don't think that their intention is to just kill any rangers that they might have, but I can't say that they won't if the rangers don't show any signs of breaking their spirits. But in terms of whether they're still alive, I mean, if they've lasted this long, they might last another week or 2. It's hard to say. But just keep that under consideration. They might also starve to death, but that was mostly because the Fae had taken over Fort Riston and stopped feeding us, so...
He'll nod, and then basically explain, I think that he is under the impression that at least the 4 of them are going to go back and try to take that fort. He'll then suggest some of the options that we went over, out of game a little bit, which is maybe the group of us could travel up together and try to lay siege, and some of our more competent fighters could help. Perhaps there's other initiatives that they want to take. If the owlbear problem is not proving too difficult, we could take care of that first and then head up, that kind of thing. And then kind of weigh responses from each person about what positions people have.
Yep. So the NPC's responses, I'll just go around. Tydell is very much on the side of wanting to take out the owlbears quickly. His hunter instincts are kind of the type that he doesn't like that they've attacked at all, and 2, he doesn't like the idea of leaving them be, that they might come in force at some point. Not knowing how many of them is dangerous, he thinks. Celio is a little bit on the fence. He agrees with that, primarily because his idea is that if the 4 of you go to Fort Riston, he doesn't like the forces that are going to be left behind. He knows that they held off 1 attack from the owlbears, but again, in his estimation, as a 5th level character with PC levels, nobody else here, other than Aubryn, but she's really wounded, nobody else here in his consideration is going to be able to really put up a defense. Aubryn is kind of on the same page in that regard. She's keenly aware that she's not going to be as useful as she could be, and even Celio is wounded. He's got a peg leg now, so she's kind of on the fence there as well. Jet, Rena, and Veld don't weigh in on that area too much because none of them are combat heavy on their focus, so they don't have a whole lot that they can, a lot of wisdom they can provide in that regard. I don't know what the other 3 PCs have to say on that matter.
Real quick, Do we know are owlbears like intelligent as far as creatures go?
I imagine that at the very least, Aaidan would know the basics of them.
So I know we fought them already, but I can't remember knowledge checks that we made or any information that we would have gotten. So
I googled owlbear Aaidan.
that'll get you some content there.
So you would know that owlbears do not possess any greater intelligence than your average animal. They have animal level intelligence. Their wisdom is above average, though. They are very wise.
Okay.
And physically, they are very powerful creatures.
Right. I was just trying to gather whether it was feasible, like if they came and destroyed the wall that they had been building, if they were intelligent enough to go back and like get larger forces and mount an attack on the caves, or if it's more just feral instinct.
Yeah, so intelligence, not so much. They're not going to be like coming up with some grand strategy, but wisdom and like tactics, instinctual tactics, probably. If you guys happen to be near owlbear territory, it could very well escalate until you've been driven off.
Makes sense. Kieran doesn't really have strong opinions either way. He understands the need to go back to the fort, but kind of after what happened there, I don't know if he's super keen on going back to the fort, but he knows that that's kind of the next step in the plan, at least.
Which fort are we going back to, or considering going back to? The one where we found Captain Crunch, or the one where we ran away?
Ran away.
Travale.
Okay. Travale.
Travale. Le Fort Travale.
Yep.
Aaidan will advocate that he thinks that they ought to take it slow, right? So he thinks that it's best if the four of us were to stay, help Tydell and maybe a hunting party take care of the local threats. We can then reassess from there whether or not it's smarter to go further into the Fangwood or send operations seeking food and aid independently, looking for other rangers for support, or what to do. But I think our next immediate step is to go hunting, basically, and set up not just Misthome but a perimeter.
Yep, and to that point, given what you've heard, Aaidan, you'd probably assume that taking on the owlbears would be a lot closer to like a day trip type of a thing. Like, they probably aren't 20 miles out. There may be like half a day's journey at most, whereas Fort Travale is minimum 3 days one direction.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, just like Sirio's got a little bit of arrogance, Aaidan knows he's a far better tracker than Tydell, especially at this point. So I think he's got some confidence in his ability.
And guy becomes a ranger, and here we go. Yeah, that's what we're gonna get.
He just knows it. He
just knows it.
And I think I told the group before, but Jessup would advocate to, go hunt the owlbears.
Oh, same as Frampton.
I was off with my time frame with Serial telling us about, how long that they were captured and held up for. So I think I was under the impression that those people probably were dead, the Rangers, but they might not be, especially if they are being fed and whatnot. But Jessup's rather wanting to help the people now versus potentially leaving them in trouble only to go up, and then what if the Rangers are all dead? Then, did we not accomplish at least anything at all?
Yeah, I think Aaidan is cynical, but not like that doesn't end him. Like he thinks they're probably dead, right?
The Rangers signed up for this, not to put them in that bad of a situation, but these people they're just farmers and stuff, they can't defend themselves. The Rangers, at least when they signed up to be a Ranger, they kind of knew
Yeah.
I mean, this is bad. They didn't probably think this was going to happen, but
I think Aaidan has come to embrace that perspective. So he's very much just like, they're probably dead. Maybe they aren't, And maybe there's a tactical advantage to holding that fort, but that is the lines that he's considering, not the I have to save people or else kind of thing.
Yeah, the only other thing that Jessup doesn't care for is I wonder what trouble we would have gotten into if metagaming Aaidan had not passed his perception check to realize that they were hobgoblins dressed as rangers. Because if we didn't know, would we have just strolled up there thinking that they were just normal rangers? Right. Things could have escalated a lot more differently, but there could be other rangers still going up to the fort, potentially getting in trouble.
Yep. And to clarify in the timeline for Sirio, he's not being optimistic. He's simply stating the facts that when he was captured, they were held for a solid week or two. They were being fed barely enough to be kept alive. It was not great, but they were being kept alive, sort of. It wasn't until the Fae drove off the hobgoblins that they stopped feeding them at all.
We don't know. Was Trevelyan the first fort to fall too? Right? I mean,
yeah, you don't.
We don't know that because it could. I mean, I don't think it was, but could it be?
Sirio doesn't know anything about which fort fell when.
So we don't know how many weeks it has been.
Yeah, we don't have any information along those lines.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything specific more to say. I think that we pretty much have covered all of the bases. The rest of the meeting is an air of bureaucracy that no real Normathi can comfortably sit through for too long.
Tydell leaves halfway through.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm out.
Tasks are delegated.
This is ridiculous.
Aaidan just wants to try to make sure things are in order, morale is high, and that people are at least emotionally prepared if they have to leave. That's something that we're considering. So they want that idea to just be put out into the public kind of thing, but tactfully as possible, sort of thing.
Right. Okay. So yeah, Auburn would, once everybody's said their piece, Auburn, seeing that you had a somewhat uncomfortable opening and that it wasn't to Aaidan's forte, something that he wasn't expecting or necessarily wanting, she offers to kind of close it out and kind of recap everything that was said, and then kind of be like, all right, so I guess, or are you going to be taking a hunting party out to fight the owlbears today, or are you going to take another day to rest and do that tomorrow? Or
I'm fine to go now. I think that the rest of us are too, maybe? And he looks at the PCs.
Yeah. Let's go kill some owlbears.
I think
Do whenever you are.
I think that we will spend the day to kill some owlbears.
Tydell comes back, hearing that the conversation has returned to owlbears. He says, so do you want me to come with you, or Li Fang, or my sister, or all three of us? How big of a hunting party do we want? Again, we don't know their numbers, so...
I think that the three of you will be good enough. Everyone else we will want to stay here.
Alright.
The 7 of us can go.
Alright, I'll let them know we can get ourselves ready to go.
Maybe you could level up if the XP is high enough.
Oh, that's a pretty good idea. I think I'm still only a Warrior 2.
I think
that the milestone leveling works for the PCs. It's the promotion mechanic that works on the NPCs here. So, and you used all the promotions on Li Fang, the new guy. So,
well, what a good that did us.
How do you think that we could get more?
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
I don't.
Maybe taking out the owlbears would offer you a promotion to all of the NPCs that were significantly helpful in the fight.
I think that is a good idea. Thereafter, as the party is concluding, Tydell is the closest representative of construction we have here, since Herge and Li Fang are not present.
Construction, probably be Vardalel if you wanted to bring him over.
Yeah, let's have Vardalel here. And he'll basically raise Veld's concerns about the stairs and request it.
So, you direct him towards Veld, and Veld begins to describe like because she's moved on from the staircase. It's now a pulley system. So she's describing like an elevator kind of a thing, and he's just like staring at her, cocks his head, and he's like, that is a fantastic idea. That is brilliant. I am going to get on work on that right away. This is going to be great. Does anyone have some rope?
I have 50 feet of rope.
Oh, well, work. It's a good start, I guess. We're gonna need a lot more rope than that. It's like 40 feet down one way.
He shrugs his shoulders and pulls it out of his bag. You can use this. I don't know. Maybe talk to Jet. She might know what other rope we have around.
I have. Let's see here. Try to look it up.
Obviously, he's just carrying the rope because he's got his
Clearly,
kick ready to
40
go.
feet of rope is a standard kit for any ranger, so we have at least 120 feet worth of rope.
What kind of rope do you have, Aaidan?
Mine was silk, lightweight rope.
Okay, I think mine is as well. I'm just trying to look it up here.
I mean, hemp rope is much better for construction, but we can figure something out. We can work. And he looks to Jet, and they start talking about if they have any rope. And he just kind of makes an aside. He's like, if you happen to find any rope, feel free to bring as much of it as you can possibly carry back. It's very useful for so many different reasons.
Never mind.
Why does he sound so ominous? Like,
He needs so much rope for lasting.
what is he gonna?
You use rope a lot.
Okay, I mean, I feel like we're gonna come back and he has all the other people tied up.
They're all tied up.
They're all tied up. Like,
If you're gonna have a pulley system, like, you gotta have like 5 times as much rope.
I'm just saying, why are you voicing him so ominously? Like,
It's the smile when he does it.
he sounds evil.
Look, just because he's an elf doesn't mean.
Clearly a human hater.
All right, so you begin directing the NPCs towards the project of creating an elevator between the levels, and
Can we just say that we might not be here that long?
Correct.
And you want to okay.
you don't know how long you'll be here.
Yeah,
That's true.
He'll
And another thing is-
with that, like, don't commit too much to it. Just help.
Well, that's the other thing is you don't know if you'll want to completely move on or not, because this is still a good location. It's got a forge down there. Navi will be here. It might be good to keep as a sort of outpost.
Right.
So there's no harm in doing something to it. But yes, so you go through all of the business that you need, and Tydell, La Rosa, and Li Fang are able to get their stuffs around pretty easily, and unless there's any other things you wanted to handle.
Aaidan will pull Veld aside as the meeting breaks and concludes. He'll talk to her one-on-one.
Okay. You pull her into the room with all of the corpses and bones.
Yeah, naturally. I want to thank you, Veld. I know that it was a lot for you to come, and you think that maybe you think that you didn't contribute a lot, but I think that you did, and I look forward to your input. I remember that you had said last night you had thought about giving me the memories back from the time that I lost when we first met. Did you want
That's right.
to?
Okay. Well, I did prepare it today, so it'd be kind of a waste if I didn't cast it on somebody.
I'd hate to put it to such waste. Yeah, that would be a shame.
Yeah, a second. It is a 2nd level spell, so
Second level? I don't have enough wisdom.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think it does.
And she will look at you, see the memory. The memory starts basically the moment that, like, before she opened the door and whatnot. Like, she's in her house, and then you guys show up, and that's when the memory starts, and it ends just after you wake up, Aaidan, because you weren't asleep for very long. And you see that all from her perspective, sight, smell, hearing, all of that. It's awkward for you to see yourself, like, because you're basically inhabiting her perspective, and you see yourself over there. It's kind of a weird sensation for the short duration that this spell is occurring, but you do see all of that, and maybe a slight fuzz of a memory of your own is triggered, having actually seen the events again. You're like, yeah, I do kind of remember that happening, sort of a thing. Not super clear, but something of that nature.
Almost like a false memory, a story your parents told often when you were a kid, and so you think you remember it, kind of thing. But,
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
And once it's done, she'll say, I know it's not, like, it doesn't really make up for losing the memories yourself, but I think that's probably the best that I can do.
I appreciate that, Phil. And like I said, I really don't hold anything against you. I understand why you did what you did, and I'm sorry that I behaved so rashly and caused you to be so scared.
I can't really defend myself. It's just been a long time since I was interacting with people, and it's gotta get used to socializing, I guess.
He laughs at that. Well, I think that today you did a great job. I am not good at socializing myself, actually. Believe it or not, I'm not very good at talking.
Well, you did pretty okay in the meeting there. I didn't say anything, but it was fun to watch.
I'm not
Yep.
sure that's a compliment, Phil, but I will choose to take it as one. I have some owlbears to hunt. Please be safe on your way back downstairs.
I'd be safer if
I
there was a...
understand. We did it, Phil. It's in the minutes. We had a meeting. All right?
Yep.
Vadalel will do it. I know. I have confidence in him.
Good. Yep. Just make sure you bring back rope for him. It seems important.
Don't worry, Phil. I'll bring rope. As he's leaving. Lots and
And
lots of rope.
she makes her way back down.
Was there a second to the motion? Technically, no.
I don't know if it was passed or not.
I think so. My goal is to find an excessive amount of rope. Like 10.
That's what he wants.
10,000 feet of rope. That would be ideal.
Wow.
That's
You're
a lot of
underestimating how heavy rope is. Okay, so it's still morning of this day, and you guys are able to get around, and the 7 of you begin to leave the cave to begin tracking down these owlbears. And Aaidan, there's in the back of your mind, you're a little worried because you did hear the thunder the night before. You're worried that it might have rained and washed out the tracks. It definitely does look like it rained, but maybe not too heavily. You can still kind of see where the tracks are, so you think you should be able to follow them. It might be a difficult check, but with the number of you going on, if you were all aid, you'll probably be fine. Mm-hmm. And the tracks look like they head pretty much due north, if you wanted to begin going that direction. The main thing that I would need to know is if you are doing a normal survival check to follow the tracks, or if you are trying to move at normal speed. If you go, because a survival check is normally half speed to slowly keep track of where things are. Doing that, you'll move through the Fangwood basically 1 mile per hour, so it might take you most of the day to get there. But if you were to try to speed things up, you could probably get there by noon, depending on how far away it is. But like you said, given the territory of an owlbear, probably only a couple miles at most. So if you moved at like 2 miles an hour, you could probably get there within 3 to 4 to some hours, but it's up to how confident you are in your survival checks.
Okay. Hang on a second.
No, I won't.
There was a spell I was going to cast that was going to help. But it was...
Nope, no spells.
Oh, no?
The Jedi lore?
No, but it was
No spells.
It was an Erastil only spell, so. He worships Erastil, but not mechanically, so.
Auburn does.
Good for all.
Nope, that's Caden Kalian. She used to be a rascal.
Oh, she had a change of faith?
I forget exactly what the story is, but she does often tell the story of how when she was a ranger, an arrow came towards her heart, and it was shattered by a tankard or something. And she basically immediately took that to be like, oh, Aaidan Kilian.
Oh, so she's quick to jump.
Yeah, she's
Away.
I was like, what?
Aaidan is the god of luck and drinking, and so she basically took that to be that tankard was a lucky, like, the fact that it blocked that arrow saved her life. That's a lucky tankard, and she's like, there's no deity who better fits that than Aaidan.
So she's going to see a butterfly outside.
Right.
And she'll think, oh, Desna sent that butterfly to show me the way to go.
At this point, she's fully committed. She's taken cleric levels in Erastil, so it's a lot harder for her to pivot a different direction
Aaidan
now.
Kalian?
I mean, Aaidan Kalian.
Yeah.
She's taken cleric levels in Aaidan Kalian, so it'd be a lot harder to pivot to a different deity now.
Yeah, that's
Well, I'm just saying she's easily convinced, so we could definitely have fun with that.
It was in her youth, impressionable times.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
You don't have to explain how much people are entitled to their beliefs. You don't owe me anything, Ombrin. Believe what you want.
Okay, so how confident are you in your tracking?
Pretty confident.
I will say that LaRosa and Tydell can both aid.
Yeah, so let's try to make
Well, I
this-
can try and aid as well.
Yeah.
No, you're not good enough.
Okay.
Clearly. He didn't bring you up, so you're not good enough.
Jason, may I try and aid with your...
Listen, Aaidan's already a better ranger than you, okay? Just deal with it.
At least I am a ranger.
Oh!
Dare I say so am
So
There was a
LaRosa and
ceremony.
24 hours, don't get your...
LaRosa and Tydell will have to roll because they don't have survival as one of their NPC skills as warriors, because warriors only get handle animal apparently. So they'll have to roll to aid. Jessup, I don't know, you can probably take 10 and aid.
not
yeah.
that it mattered, but for the sake of it, I did cast Deadeye Lore myself, so I have a +6, so if I just take a 10, it's 16.
Right.
It was
So-
Deadeye's lore that I was looking for, and you can't cast it. You don't need to worship Erastil.
Yep.
So I'll also use that, which will give me a +4 sacred bonus, and you do not move at half your speed while tracking through the wilderness or while tracking. So couple
Okay.
that with Woodland Stride, and we should be able to make some nice time.
Yeah, so technically you have to make a survival check every mile, but we'll kind of, at the speed that you're going, we'll say 4 checks. So you can roll 4 survival checks. Jessup aids every time, like he said. LaRosa and Tydell, I'll just roll a couple here.
I can't remember. You said it rained last night?
It did.
Yes.
I can get a 24 just taking 10, so I think I might...
That's how they aid you. So the first check, one of them aids. The second check, both do. The third check, neither do. The fourth check, one
Should we roll
does.
it for fun? We're on a hunt. You know, maybe I'll get a nat 20 and we'll find it right away, right?
One, and
You
we'll
can,
never find it.
you can take 10 or you can roll. That's fine. It's just if you fail a roll, you'll have to spend time re-picking up the track.
Yeah, let's see how the day goes. Yeah, I'm gonna roll. Just
Yeah, not bad.
Okay.
That last one sucked, man.
No,
So-
so the thing, we probably got there by the second one. so
We'll be
it's-
close enough. We'll be close enough. Yeah, it'll be fine.
So 31 plus 2 is 33. That's a success. 33 plus 4 is a 37. That's a success. 31 plus 0, 31. Still a success. 18 plus 2 would technically be a failure, but you passed by so much on the first 3 that you probably made it in the first 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you guys make considerably good time. And especially considering how all 7 members of this group, I think at this point, have a base land speed of 30 feet, I think.
Plus half
Um,
ranger level to track on each of those survival checks that wasn't added in, and the sacred bonus.
Oh.
that I swore.
Right, so the 20 would actually be 24, 20. Okay, so that would have also succeeded.
Yeah,
So
we're getting there.
You have
So-
Jedi lore in your macros?
I
What a
don't cast it
noob.
often enough. I don't cast
You
it often.
ranger! What a ranger!
So, making fantastic time, within 3 hours, you begin to see the tracks really pick up. Like, you're getting real close. And another 10, 15 minutes go by, and you feel like you're practically on top of what is, like, peak owlbear territory here. And you begin walking closer to what appears to be an opening in the forest, maybe 50 feet away, and you guys are walking there, slowly inching your way forward, and I will move you to this map here.
Owlbears would not count as animals for the purpose of the spell detect animals or plants.
No, owlbears are officially magical beasts.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be another +2 for favor.
I can see Aaidan as that ranger who like walks over and picks up the scat.
I was gonna say picks it up, licks it a little bit.
Yeah, so that's going to be a
Near.
little bit higher for the favorite enemy
This
bonus.
poo is fresh!
That's nasty.
like-
That impression of Aaidan was. Mwah.
Oh, I didn't
Perfect.
even hear it. Oh,
You'll hear it on the replay.
I'm sure. It's probably just whiny.
Yeah,
So-
pretty much.
It was a little bit.
How would my 8-year-old sound? Let's just do that.
So can you guys see this whole map?
Yes, the
Yes.
whole thing.
It's not Fog of Ward.
No fog
sir.
of war.
Okay.
I can't see the enemies on the map. That's weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
So,
Oh.
so you guys will be approaching from the south. So you could pretty much put yourself anywhere on the
Alright.
southern corner of.
I'm
the-
just throwing me on. That's not where I'm going to
With
be.
the see-through trees,
Yeah, I know.
this is a nice
Cool.
map.
Nice. Yeah.
That's a nice map.
So it's a good one.
It's a good map. I like it.
And so as you guys approach this, it looks like it's some sort of lake, glade, glen sort of place in this forest here. I will describe it to you.
It's lovely.
At the center of this wide glade is a clear, rocky pond, approximately 20 feet in diameter. This is a little bit larger because
I was just getting ready to be. No.
approximately 70 feet in diameter.
Ha. Okay.
You see 7 blossoming cherry trees lean inward from the edge of the pond, almost like conspirators. Hundreds of small, sharp knots of wood cover the ground around the pond and trees, like thorns just coming out of vines everywhere in this area. Pretty much the moment you start moving into the darker colored grass, it's spiked all over the place. Effectively caltrops on every square.
Jeez.
And I can read the description of caltrops just so you know. But you can take a moment to kind of look down at these vines and these roots and the spikes coming out of them, and basically every square that you step on, I make an attack roll against you. And if I hit, again, this does not, the creature's shield, armor, and deflection bonuses do not count. So it's an attack roll against your AC minus shield, armor, deflection. If you're wearing shoes, you get a +2 to your AC. If I hit and my attack succeeds, you take 1 point of damage, and your speed is halved for the next 24 hours or until you are healed with a heal check or magical healing. A creature running or charging immediately stops if it steps on a caltrip. Any creature moving at half speed or slower can pick its way through with no trouble. So that's essentially what you're looking at.
No.
And the other thing that you notice as you get closer to the entrance, or not the entrance, but the edge of the tree line to this glade, you notice 2 creatures that are by the water, kind of drinking from the side of it. And you are able to immediately identify these as a pair of owlbears. who do not yet seem to have noticed you. They are preoccupied with drinking from this small pond.
They didn't see the bright light that's coming from Kieran's shirtless body. Like a beacon in the
Like
night.
a beacon
That's not
shining
true.
off his abs.
That's a lie.
It's glaring. We can't.
That's why his
We can't even
step
look
was
at
only a
Kieran.
one.
Yeah.
I
Can't even look
pull
at Kieran.
one of these. You know?
No.
You know.
He's like making SEAL Team 6 symbols, and we're all standing there going, I don't know what to do. I don't. Is he having a stroke? What is he doing?
So, Jason, am I not mistaken that for once in this campaign at least, my woodland stride ability will matter? It says thorns,
Yeah,
briars.
they're not magical,
Yeah.
as far as I know. They're not
Yeah, such
magical
as natural
thorns.
briars, overgrown areas, and similar terrain at his normal speed without taking damage or suffering any other impairment.
Yeah, it looks like these are practically hand-carved spikes of wood. They're not magical.
So
They're made of natural wood. They don't impede any creature with a natural armor bonus of at least +4, or creatures with the Woodland Stride class feature.
I feel so good.
No, I think this is gonna fit yet again.
Y'all should have played a ranger.
I knew about the natural armor bit, but I knew that none of you had that much natural armor, so I didn't bother.
No.
But I forgot that there was the Woodland Stride there. So yeah, Aaidan, you're fine.
Yay.
Great.
Min-maxer.
Yay. Yay, it's the Aaidan show.
So how do you guys want to proceed? You see the two owlbears. Aaidan stops you before you break
all the way
the
over
tree
there.
line.
Yeah, and there's only 2.
At
Is
the
it-
moment, looks like there's only 2. You can make a perception check to notice otherwise, but you're only seeing 2 out in the open.
I would like to notice otherwise, take in all of my surroundings.
Okay.
Give me a second.
Frampton's rolling a 24 perception, 28 if it's for canny observer stuff.
I've got magical beast, and I think Deadeye lore. It's hour per level, so that's probably gone. Or did we get here fast enough?
I think that's only survival anyways.
Oh, you're right.
We've got a 24 from Kieran,
Oh,
an
that's
8 from
fine.
Jessup, and a
There's caltrops on the ground.
20 from Aaidan. So, none of you see any creatures other than the 2 owlbears. At least not at the moment. There could easily be others nearby in the forest that you just straight up can't see, but at the moment you don't
At the
notice
very
any
least,
other
we
creatures.
can kill these 2, then look at the tracks and see if there's more.
Yep.
And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to get a surprise round off. And
Are we sure Kieran and Jessup don't want to try diplomacy on these things? Yeah.
What languages do they speak?
Funny you should ask. Because Aaidan, as you pull back your bow, the soft sound of a string and the wood of the bow going taut, you hear a voice coming out from near the pond. And the voice is unlike any that you've heard, but it is speaking out in common. And it says, "Leave this place. You have no business here. You do not belong to this forest, and it does not belong to you. I have noticed your continued disturbances within my territory for some time now. Begone. Let nature's cycle continue unhindered by your meddling."
Aaidan will slowly undo the arrow and then kind of do one of those, like, look to Jessup or, like, I think this is your thing.
And as
We all
that voice
hear it,
speaks
or-
out, so you all hear it, and you notice so do the owlbears. They kind of look up. They're like looking
Charging
for where
battery.
what the voice was. Everybody roll stealth checks.
I don't think it was talking to us. I think it was talking to the owlbears.
Oh.
Oh,
With a +14, I rolled a 1.
then we're perfectly
I still did just as good as Kieran.
With a +1, I rolled 14.
I'm going to untick magical beasts for now, Jace. Add 2 if it What's an owlbear talking to?
This stealth is against the owlbears, who are now looking around.
Okay, so do keep it on.
So we wave at him. Hi.
Hello.
Oh boy.
Hi. Yes, I was just wondering. Can I contact you? I'm calling about your.
Interested in power 14.
I understand that this might be a bad time since you're in a natural glade, but I was just wondering if I could get your contact information.
So, the owlbear nearest to you rolled a 14 in its perception, minus 5 for distance, would bring it to a 9.
Yay.
The one back there rolled a 19 plus 12 minus 10 for a 21 perception.
Of course.
I'm 100 feet away.
Oh.
So
He's
the one
aware.
closest to you guys kind of looks up and doesn't spot you, doesn't really know where the voice came from, but the one back there looks up and happens just by chance to look directly in your direction, sees this beacon of light coming from Kieran's chest, and
Boo.
immediately
Puts his shirt back on. Sorry.
Sorry.
immediately begins walking in your direction. It's not like charging or roaring anything, it's noticed you and it's walking in your direction now.
You said the voice spoke in common, but is there a accent check that I can roll? Do they sound Nirmathi? Do they sound humanoid? Do they sound?
I will give you. They distinctly do not sound Nirmathi or Multhuni, or like a hobgoblin.
Okay, so
It's distinctly none of the factions that you might be. If it is a humanoid, it's none of the factions that you're familiar with. Doesn't sound like the Fae that you encountered. Maybe somewhat similar, but not exactly like the Fae. But you're not. You've never encountered this dialect before, I don't think.
With Jessup?
Most likely not.
It's technically a knowledge geography.
Linguistics.
Linguistics too.
I mean, linguistics. You already know it's common.
Right, technically it's knowledge geography to figure out where, like, a regional dialect, if I'm not mistaken.
It's not a human dialect.
So can we roll
it's
a respective knowledge, maybe?
I'm gonna say with just the voice
No.
in this situation, I don't think so.
Okay.
But
Well, in
With-
context,
if-
I'm guessing
yeah.
either some kind of fae or nymph, or maybe some kind of tree spirit or something like that. You know.
so again, the one owlbear has taken a single move action in your direction. Do you have any response?
Jessup kind of looks around to those guys and
I
Turns-
didn't. Oh god.
oh, we're sorry that we may have disturbed any natural order here. We were actually just perusing around to see what maybe was attacking our makeshift camp. If you would like to come out so we can chat about this, I would greatly appreciate it. So we make sure we're not stepping on anyone's toes or cow drops.
Okay. You respond to this disembodied voice, and before it can respond to you, these owlbears now, the one which was already looking in your direction, and the other one who was not sure of where the voices was coming from, they both look in your direction now, and now that the one has had a turn to kind of peer in your direction, he sees figures, and he roars out towards you, and you would know that they are going to charge right now.
Like roll initiative.
And I'm going to need everybody to roll an initiative check.
Are you happy?
Wait. You're not going to let me roll diplomacy on the owlbears?
Unfortunately, it was not the owlbears talking, so...
You could still maybe try to communicate. Why
Do
not?
they understand language?
Holy initiative check.
Yeah.
Guys, stop.
I suck.
Yeah. Brought our A game.
We did.
Owlbears only have a +5 initiative.
Yeah, because they're weak.
Weak.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yes, I'm guaranteed to be number 1 then.
I want to take bets on what I rolled for initiative on these guys?
Yeah, you rolled
two,
a natural
one.
2.
One of them rolled a natural 2.
Oh,
natural
yeah!
4.
I win!
I said 2.
We win!
I say 2 and 4.
Can we get an idea where the, I don't know what to call them, brambles are?
Everywhere in the dark grass. So technically you and Jessup are already on them, but you could move yourselves outside of the dark ring.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So you guys can move yourselves just outside of that ring.
here.
Right, so we have a 20 for Aaidan. We have a 28 for Frampton. It's not a natural 20, though. We have a 25 for Kieran and a 24 for Jessup. So we're at that. So yeah, I rolled a natural 2 for one of them and a natural 1 for the other.
Do we have
So-
some
We're going first.
bystander tokens to put on here? People we have to protect because they're weak?
Right. Yep.
Shouldn't. Why do we bring them?
Put
They're in the
them-
they're in the dark grass in front of us.
Yeah. Clearly blocking any possible charge by...
We lay them down so that we can walk on them to avoid the caltrops.
We're just XP sharing. It's like an MMO. We're high level. They're level 2 or 3. They just start.
Yeah, we have our experience share equipped.
Yeah.
Oh, we're just farming XP so that they can guard the camp better.
Yes, we're trying to promote them. That's the only reason we're here.
Larosa, Tydell, and Li Feng, correct?
Lyrosa, Tydell, Li Feng. Correct.
Yep. So Larosa and Tydell went off to the other side, and Li Feng was kind of going up closer to Aaidan on the west corner of the map. So that is where they are located. I will throw in their stats here in the initiative.
Oh yeah, I guess technically they have stat blocks.
Funnily enough, they will be going still before the owlbears, but not before any of you guys. There's a big gap between 20 and 7. Okay. So, top of the round, before these creatures have charged at you, but after they've roared and made their intentions clear, Frampton.
Mr. Burnbridges.
Frampton! I don't know. They're too far away. I don't have range.
Charge.
No, you know how much damage I'd take running across them brambles?
Tippy toe.
Not enough, that's for sure.
No. No, thank you. I'm gonna delay.
Okay.
Unless they get within range. And then I'll attack.
Okay.
If they get within a range where I could move and feasibly attack them in the same turn.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're delaying until they get close enough so that you can...
Within 30 feet, basically.
Within 30 feet or within 15 feet? Do you want to move at half
Oh, is
speed
this-
so you don't...
Yes. So yes.
Okay.
Half speed, so 50.
So if they move within range so that you can move forward without having to worry about the caltrips.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
After Frampton, we have Kieran.
Been a little while since I played Kieran, so you know.
Shine grasp!
Loading disc.
I forgot that
Disc.
an important thing to have at all times is mage armor, so I'll take my standard action to cast mage armor because I never said ahead of time I would have had it
It's
cast.
just
Noob!
I feel the
We're
need
going on
to.
a hunt. You've got mage armor on.
You definitely would have, but I didn't
I
say
can
it. So
live
I'll
with
just,
that.
I'll just cast mage armor.
It's only gonna last for 7 hours.
Yeah, I know. How dare
6
you?
hours actually.
Oh. Well, what if you use the one charge of the extended rod, Kieran? That's what it's for. That would last the whole
that
day.
wasn't given to me to use.
You gave it to me to use.
Yeah, I don't have it.
I'm right next to you.
No, you're. Oh, whatever. No, I'm not, because that would take a move action for me to give it to you. Just too many actions.
I meant this morning.
No, it's fine. I'll use my standard to cast mage armor, and I'll try to remember to say it ahead of time.
Why don't you just
Next
make it one
time.
of those conditional things? Every morning he does this.
Because that's not necessarily what he would do, though. It's only
Gotcha.
when he knows that there's going to be like combat, because he doesn't want to waste his spells. But that would be my standard, and my move. I guess I will move half speed. No. I'm gonna move over here.
Okay. Moving on from Kieran, we have Jessup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jessup will look at Frampton. Alright, Frampton, we're gonna do this, just like with the satyrs, except better this time. And he pulls out. Move action. No, he's not. Never mind, I'm not doing that. I put my hand on Frampton.
Delicately.
Yes, and I give him heroicism.
Ooh.
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 So standard action, and then move action, bardic performance, because I can do that now.
That lasts
Nice.
10 minutes per level?
Oh,
that lasts
yeah.
10 minutes per level? That's amazing! I feel heroic!
I 70 minutes.
See, I've told you, this is probably my favorite spell in the game.
I hate it.
And then,
Wait, you hate
yeah,
it?
so
Yes, because you always cast it on the paladin, and the paladin doesn't need to be buffed any more than the paladin's already open.
it doesn't matter what game I play in. I cast Grease. She tells her she hates that. I cast Heroicism. She says she hates that. Is Fireball. I hate that. Is there a spell, Sarah?
Charging battery.
I will let Sarah now pick my spell slots per day I'm a mage.
I've already told you, Mud Buddy.
I keep forgetting to grab that one. My apologies.
You considered fastidiousness.
Hey, that's a great spell. I have it.
Yes. That's a great spell.
All right, so now that you can do it, move action, begin your performance. I assume it's Inspire Courage.
Yes, I'm sorry. That's correct.
Okay. And you cast Heroicism on... I'm sorry, Heroicism on Frampton. That is your turn. Bringing us to Aaidan.
And Frampton,
Ooh.
just so you know, Inspire Courage is competence bonus, whereas Heroicism's morale. So they will stack.
Oh, so they do stack. Excellent. Excellent.
Excellent.
I shall not miss any attacks.
Don't say. Oh, why did you say that?
Right?
5 foot 6.
No, all we need was somebody to go in flanking position. but
Right? We go into
ran-
flanking and this
they
fight
ran
done,
away.
guys. Yeah.
I don't
Those
think
shiny washboard abs.
Aiden thinks there's any way we're getting out of this, but he does a quick look to Kieran for approval before he looses 4 arrows into blue.
Point of order.
Yeah.
I forget this too often. It is dim light because of the canopy above you. So,
There.
20% miss chance, just so you know.
Because I'm under the tree.
Yes.
But if
Well, it's because this is like the map makes it look bigger than it is, but this glade is supposed to be relatively small, so the canopy does.
Still under the canopy.
It's still light enough that you can see. It's just
Right.
dim light, but it's going to be 20%.
Okay, that is fine. Yeah, I'll still take the 4 shots. I have Vital Strike now, so I can begin honestly considering the move action, remove the...
Yeah, the Chernasardo hopeful
Yeah.
trait.
But instead of putting it all into 1, I will put my faith and confidence into 4. Give me a moment to make sure that
Okay.
I've got Rapid Shot ticked.
Yep. Favorite enemy, magical beast.
Favorite enemy, Magical Beast, Forest, Inspire Courage. And then lastly, make sure mini shot is still pressed. Here it comes. Ha ha ha.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
So, first attack is a 33 natural 20, so potential crit with a 17 to confirm. And that's the mini shot. The second attack is a 21 to hit, and the third attack, or fourth arrow, is a 16 to hit. Roll me 20% miss chance on 3 of those, because all of them hit the AC. The first one is a potential crit if you get over it.
I will
Again,
roll
1 to 20 is a miss.
Yep,
You
I'll
want
roll
21 or higher.
3d20 or 3d100. So
Yeah, 3d20.
get him in.
So 84, 86, 41. So that aces the concealment on all 3 attacks. And the first one is a crit. So 45 plus 17, right? That's how it works.
No, I think you do. You. I don't know. You do all of the damage gets multiplied.
All right, let me look up the feat mini shot here.
Pulling it up now.
Basically, what you're saying is that owlbear's dead.
Oh, it's dead.
When making a full attack, fire 2 arrows. If the attack hits both hit, apply precision-based damage and critical damage only once for this attack.
Okay, so you just get the extra 17.
Yep, so 45 plus 17.
Yeah.
So, you fire off that first arrow, and it pierces the owlbear's head right between the eyes, and in one shot, it falls to the ground.
62 points of damage, baby!
The other 2 that you fired off, you're not outside of your range increment, correct?
No, and
On the blue
order
one?
was backwards. I'm hitting blue first, then red. Not that it
Oh.
makes a difference, but
Okay, well, as long as you're within your range increment, there's no penalties, so it's fine.
yeah, it's 120 for a longbow.
Yeah, well, 110
110.
for a composite longbow. So you fire that off. Blue falls dead. The other 2 arrows for both hit for 15 damage and 9 damage, dealing significant wounds to the other owlbear, but it is still up.
For now.
Let me actually do the damage here before I forget. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. That is Aaidan's turn. Pretty good turn. Pretty good turn.
All right. I mean, didn't kill them both, so.
Yeah.
Moving on to La Rosa, Tydell, and then Li Fang. La Rosa is going to fire off first with her longbow. It's going to be a natural 3 that's going to miss. Tydell is also going to do the same. Natural 11 for a 15, which just hits,
Yay!
dealing another 9 points of damage.
Woohoo.
He did not like that. And Li Fang, realizing that he's way too far to do melee, is going to move action, pull out a crossbow, and I guess he'd have to move action reload it because he doesn't have rapid reload. So, unfortunately, that is his turn, getting prepared. Well,
Can he get it?
no, he would have probably pulled out. Trying to think, realizing the distance, he would have pulled out a crossbow to start the combat, I'm
We're
sure.
going on a hunt after all.
Yeah. So move action to load it, but then he can fire off once at this thing. Natural 3 is not going to do it. So they each fire off 1 arrow, but only Tydell is able to land a strike. As we now go to Owlbear Blue, who is dead, and Owlbear Red, who rolled natural 1 and is still alive. Red hasn't really had time to think much, so he's going to continue his previous course of action, which is
Drink
to
water.
charge at the enemies.
Oh,
So he is going to charge forward here at you, Frampton.
Cool.
That is going to be with a charge attack, because I think these guys only have...
Oh, did he get within my 15?
Yes, but you held your turn, so you can go right after him.
Oh, okay.
because if you wanted to interrupt, you'd have to ready. But you could ready a charge.
Well, I don't know if you can ready a charge. You can only charge when you're prohibited from, like, you can't. I don't think you can ready a full round action.
He couldn't
It's a
charge
standard
anyways because
move.
of the caltrops, right?
Also true.
Also,
Right, because I said I wanted it half
Yeah.
speed.
Yeah, so there's no way that you could have readied to really do much of anything here.
Right.
But
Sure.
they don't actually have reach, I noticed, so he has to get all the way up to you. So on your turn, you'll just be able to get a full attack off.
What's their move speed?
Yay!
Their move speed
It's like 100,
is 30, but he's charging.
so you can go.
And he doesn't take half speed because he has a +5 natural armor. So
Okay.
Well, that's convenient.
so he gets one attack. He's gonna use his claw. So with the charge bonus, that's a tweener. Is close. 21.
I don't remember. Hang on.
I can't remember your AC. I think yours is
That hits. I have a 21 AC. So
okay. Yep. Because I rolled an 11 plus 8, and then charging is another +2, so that's 21. He will claw you for 6 points of damage, and he will attempt to grab you.
Hold on, I'll heal you.
That's a 21 against your CMD.
My CMD is 21.
No,
Really?
it is. Oh.
Yep.
Because I rolled a 7, they have a plus 10 grapple for a 17, but then they have the grab property, which actually brings it up to a plus 14, so it's 7 plus 14 for a 21.
Oh, you add your strength to CMD, not your... That makes sense.
Strength and dex to CMD.
Yeah. Strength, dex, size, condition,
Yep.
deflection. That's how I got mine.
So,
Well,
you are...
Whoa.
hold up.
What?
As an immediate action,
I won't allow
Kieran
it.
casts Liberating Command, and you get an immediate escape artist check, and you gain a plus 12.
There's no way. There's no way you're gonna pass it. It's 27. That would give me a 27, Jason, to escape artist.
You
Just
get to
flat,
roll it.
without
You get to
rolling.
roll it, yeah.
A natural one still fails.
Plus 12,
So,
so
38.
38. Escape artist.
I know.
Their CMD is 21.
Ah. I feel like me and this owlbear are very evenly matched. Like,
So you are grabbed by the owlbear, but in that split-second moment,
Well, and let me just make sure, yeah, because it's 25 feet plus 2 for... I just want to make sure I'm in range, but I am in range.
Just
So
barely, right?
yep.
it's
So
close.
just as this creature's claw grabs and digs into you, you feel a strange pulse of force that ejects the claws from your shoulder, and you are freed. And it is now your turn.
looks over at Kieran, gives him the finger guns.
That
Wrong
provokes.
character.
That provokes. Let me turn on 2-weapon fighting. There we go.
That sounds like
Okay.
a fun name for like an after show podcast where we like break down the episodes. Like that provokes.
That provokes. That's a fantastic post gameplay podcast name.
All right, back pocket that one.
Yeah.
All of you people listening, don't take our idea.
23 on the rapier and 16 on the.
So you do have. Oh no, you don't, because you don't have your base attack bonus is not high enough to get another iterative attack. So you just have the 2, right?
Correct. My base attack bonus is 5, I think.
Right.
So next
Okay.
level, in theory.
Next level.
So 2 strikes, dealing. Well, both of them will hit because he charged, so his AC goes down.
Oh.
And both of those will hit for 11 and 3. So the 11 brings him down to from 14 to 3, and then the 3 brings him from 3 to 0.
Ah!
Did you have Inspire Courage on, Justin,
I
as
did,
well?
I did, yeah.
So make sure you get the extra.
Yep, I have Bardic Performance, Heroicism, 2-weapon fighting, and my favorite Illumination.
Right. You deal precisely enough damage to disable, but not kill the second owlbear.
20%.
Doesn't affect me.
Right, because he's cool.
Shadow.
They do have to roll
Walker.
20% for Tydell, though, actually.
And for the owlbear. Technically.
Tydell's fine.
Unless they
Owlbear
have
has low
dark
light
vision.
vision.
Okay.
Yeah, it's low light vision.
Moving on to Kieran.
Kieran is...
Stabby stab.
Stabby stab.
Well... Yeah, I guess he can get... I can still attack from... Oops, I'm not on the clicker. I can still attack from here? 'Cause of the-
Yes, because
Reach
you
is
effectively
weird.
have reach, yeah.
Alright, well, I will try that. I'll get right next to Jessup, pulling my glaive out as I move forward, and I will try an attack with my glaive.
You just gonna move or you gonna charge?
Not charge,
No
just
charge,
move.
Just move.
So, 17 to hit.
Should do it.
17 will hit. Do you have dark vision?
I don't. No.
Do you have low light vision?
No, I
Okay,
do not.
so roll a 20% mischance.
96.
That's fine. Brings him down to negative 14. Technically not permanently dead, but basically permanently dead. As you slash down on the other owlbear, cleaving into its shoulder, and it collapses unconscious before you. And for this moment, you do not see or hear any other creatures in the general vicinity. What do you do?
slowly and tentatively. If somebody else talks, then he'll stop this process. But Aaidan is going to begin walking into the glade, like looking around for the disembodied voice, trying to make a show of peace, maybe sheath his weapon, kind of thing.
Okay. You begin walking forward. Roll a perception check.
Anybody else? I heard somebody starts to say something. Feel free to cut in because.
Oh, I was just gonna. Nice, peaceful voice in this grove. Would you like to talk now that we have a moment reprieve?
That's that's got the 2 higher, so make that a 15, Jason, because it's got magical beast checked on still. I forgot to click it off.
Okay. Yep. 15. The only thing that you notice is the tracks in this area tend to congregate over where the owlbears are. Most of the tracks congregate on the southern eastern sides of this pond.
Not
You
the west
can't
side
see.
or this obvious. Is it like a raised pedestal here?
It is slightly higher than the rest, but that's where one of the trees are. The 7 trees are like around this area.
It's 7, not 3 cherry blossoms.
Yes, there are 7 cherry blossom tree. Well, not cherry blossom, cherry trees. So there's kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 type of a thing on that side, and they're all kind of leaning in forwards like conspirators, as the book puts it.
7.
But most of the tracks are on this other side of the pond. If you walked up and started moving over there, you'd notice that they're pretty much on that side.
Okay.
The others come as well.
No.
Larosa, Tydell start inspecting the body.
Check on the trees.
Like Jessup said, is anyone there? We don't mean any harm. He's looking around.
As we just murdered 2 owlbears.
To him, they're just beasts.
Murdered them in cold steel.
As you guys are proceeding forward, you hear the voice again. As it rings out, it says, "Your kind is always the same. Whether it be the gray-scaled hunters who only recently ceased harassing the creatures in my territory, or the pale skins and shining clothes stomping around making noise, to the more recent fanged marauders. All you care to do is destroy with no regard for the breath of nature around you."
I can't speak for everyone, but I'm not sure that is true. At least for myself, I do my best to give back. I rely on the Fangwood for my strength, and I hope that we can negotiate. I've even met one of the forest giants here. What are they called again? The Hurge, whatever he is.
Wood giants?
I've even met a wood giant, and I understand the role of divine protection. One of my good friends is a druid. I hope that we can come to an agreement.
The voice does not immediately respond. Let me see. So, based on the weaponry that it has noticed, it looks, well, you don't know where it is. So, it responds to you and says, "Your baseless claims mean nothing to me. You wield the same weapons that all those before you have wielded. You fight against the creatures who live in this territory. You invade. You come to our land without warning." And you hear movement in the trees behind you. In this tree and this tree. And you kind of glance behind you for a moment, and it almost looks like the limbs are gently swaying.
It's Ents! They're Ents!
If I'm being honest, we don't really want to be in the forest. No, I can't say anything about those who've come before, but for us personally, we're just trying to survive. And unfortunately, we've run into a bit of trouble with owlbears, and in order to maintain safety for our group, we had to seek them out and take care of them before they come back and destroy what we've built up and wound those who are among us. But honestly, I'd rather not be here if I could avoid it.
Everyone roll a perception check.
I'm Nirmathi. The way I see it, these are our lands. He doesn't say that, obviously.
Oh man, I have a prepped response if you say that.
Oh, do you really?
I have a paragraph I can read if any of you said anything remotely close to that.
I probably won't, but I would like to hear that at the end of the session. It's probably pretty bad. That's funny.
Okay.
Oh my god,
So-
I cannot roll above a 5 for my perception for some reason.
You guys see these cherry trees?
For our perception checks, we have 18 for Kieran, 7 for Jessup, 16 for Frampton, and 18 for Aaidan. Adding the +2 bonus to that, Aaidan would get a 20. Aaidan, you can hear the sounds coming from the trees behind you. Footsteps. Massive footsteps. And you turn and you're looking at the two trees that you saw moving, thinking that it's them. But you realize it's a different noise. It's a different movement than the trees. As coming from between them, practically charging into this clearing, is a colossal owlbear with midnight colored feathers and fur, and a large gash near its rear leg. As this creature
Ashmal's brother!
No,
Wait.
no, that's not who that is.
He can see the gash on its back legs from its front? That's impressive, Aaidan.
Yeah. Favorite enemy magical beast. Got him to 20.
Yep, that'll do it.
That's the best explanation I can give you for getting a 20.
Jason, it's not actually colossal sized by
No,
the rules,
it is huge size.
Because
But-
colossal is like
Compared to
Attack on
an
Titan.
average owlbear, it is particularly large.
I'm not
And-
gonna lie, I thought you were gonna have it come from here, and Kieran, of course, is the only one that's just standing. Oh my gosh, it's colossal size.
What? Look at that.
Uh,
I've seen this one, go for the neck!
Shadow the Colossus bit here.
So this creature bursts out from the trees, the tree line to that side, and it bellows out a cacophonous roar the moment it sees you, sees the two dead owlbears near you. And as it begins to charge, I need everybody to roll for initiative again.
It spoke common.
What?
I think it was the owlbear speaking.
No, the owlbear was not speaking. The voice was coming from the opposite direction of the owlbear.
Oh, I see.
It just seems that as
Yucky.
these conversations are going on, any of the nearby owlbears are maybe noticing this, and this is a particularly large one. Okay. So I've got everybody in the initiative tracker. Let's roll initiative. Oh my.
Oh, whoops,
That's
I rolled
the opposite
perception.
of what I rolled last time.
Do you want me to re-roll, Jason? I accidentally rolled perception.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Technically it's the same bonus. but
I was gonna say it's the
re-roll.
same bonus, but yeah, I'll re-roll it. There you go.
There you go, is right.
Convenient.
Very well done. Classic.
I prefer you take the first one. Okay, so Frampton gets a 26, Aaidan gets a 15, Kieran also gets a 15, but you have the same modifiers, so you actually have to roll off.
Well, just roll initiative again.
Just, yeah, roll initiative or roll d20. As long as you're doing the same thing, I don't care.
I'll re-roll initiative.
Roll a die 2.
20.
So 20 versus Aaidan's...
Any day now.
It's already rolled it. 15.
Oh, I don't see it.
Wait,
No,
no.
you-
No, you have to re-roll.
You're rolling off,
rolling off.
Kieran. You both
Yeah.
rolled the same initiative and you have the same modifier, so
Sorry.
you have to roll off to see who goes first.
Ah!
So Kieran will go first. I'll make Kieran a 6. Oh, Jessup also rolled a 15? Or is that last time? But Jessup has a 7, so he goes
No.
first.
I just rolled. Yeah, I rolled a 15.
Right, so 3 of you rolled a 15, but Jessup has a +7, so he'll go first.
Yeah.
Kieran won the roll-off, so he'll go next, and then Aaidan will go last between the 3 of you, and Li Fang will go after Aaidan because he has lower. Okay. Sort that. Top of round 1. Technically, let me look back on the perception checks just to verify. Where was Frampton's? 16 perception check. No, so you did not hit a 20. Correct. Okay. So, in the surprise round, only Aaidan and this creature will be going. And this creature rolled higher than Aaidan. So it will charge forward. And unfortunately, the nearest creature
Luros and Tydell are dead.
is
Bye!
Tydell.
Glad we brought you guys.
This
This one
creature
has reach.
charges forward in the surprise round. It's 1 attack on Tydell. It's a very, very bad roll. What is Tydell's AC? Is that going to miss?
Yes.
Oh, he's flat-footed. It hits. Okay. He has so I was looking at 17 AC. The creature only rolled a 16, so I was like, is that going to miss? Nope, he's flat-footed. Flat-footed AC is only at 14, so that does hit.
Doesn't he have
It's not
uncanny
good.
dodge or something?
No. He has no such cool thing. So, we're going to roll some damage on him. How much hit points does he... Okay. Okay.
Aaidan, you brought these people out to die. Do you feel good about yourself now?
If they level up, yeah.
So, this creature
It's called
charges
promoted.
forward.
Yeah, whatever.
It slashes at Tydell, and its massive claw just encompasses him, squeezes him as he shrieks out in pain, still conscious, but now stuck in the creature's claw. I probably should roll the CMB before I say that. Oh, yeah. Okay. He is grappled, pulled closer adjacent to the creature. He is grappled and still conscious, but extremely wounded. And the creature only gets 1 attack because it's a surprise round charge. Aaidan, you can also act in the surprise round.
So mechanically, each of these 3 squares are equidistant. So if I were to charge, I have to roll a d3.
Well, you'd be charging through an ally and a large creature's space.
Through an ally
And
is okay.
caltrops.
The large creature's space is problematic. The caltrips also don't matter.
Right, yeah.
You
So
can charge
your,
with your bow.
your option would be to fire from where you're at, move up into melee, and just be prepared for the next round. Or to take a move action to do the concealment thing, and then next round hope that Tydell survives. Tydell is very wounded, by the way.
Yeah.
It's actually worse that he took the damage he took.
Maybe for him. What
you gonna do, Aaidan?
He's going
You
to...
got 6 seconds before he dies.
Yeah, he's going to take a single shot.
Okay. Roll to hit this massive creature.
It will be Vital Strike, however,
Okay.
which I should pull up. Remind me what that does?
You'll do another damage die, so it'll be 2d8 plus your modifier, basically.
Yes. I think that's what he's going to do.
Okay. Roll to hit. And then roll a 20% mischance after that.
And Inspire Courage, I'm assuming we don't have. Yeah. So that's,
Probably not, yeah.
that's gonna.
But you do get favored enemy still.
Yep.
32 will hit.
Okay, so I can
For sure.
basically roll damage and then roll another d8, right?
Roll 20% mischance first, but then yes. 76. Okay, so roll damage and then add a d8 to it. Okay, so 2 plus the damage that you normally deal, so
13.
13. So 15 points of damage to this creature. Ouch.
And he'll
Did not like that.
5-foot step there.
Okay.
And he'll tell La Rosa to get back.
Okay. That is a surprise round. Top of round 1. First up is Frampton.
Frampton. Half speed. Gross.
Yeah. You don't have to move at half speed. It's just if you move at full speed, I start rolling to hit you.
Every 5? Every tile though?
I think so. Let me confirm. But I believe so. It is each time a creature moves into an area covered by caltrops. Yep. Or spends a round fighting while standing in such an area. So technically, I get to roll against Aaidan. Oh wait, no, I don't, because he's got the fancy stupid ability that lets me not do it.
I'll double move here,
Okay.
and that'll be my turn.
So yep, double moving at half speed, so you don't have to worry about the caltrops. Okay.
Correct.
It is now the creature's turn. The creature
Runs away in fear.
is not going to try to maintain the grapple. It just wanted to grab it so that he could toss him to the side. The creature drops Tydell as it looks forward at the small, pitiful ranger that shot an arrow into its leg, and roars out again as it steps forward to attack Aaidan. It'll do a 5. So it has to actually move to do it. But it's going to move, which will provoke from Frampton.
Yes.
Don't forget heroicism.
Heroicism. But I don't get 2 attacks, so let me turn off 2-weapon fighting.
But are you going to attack with your dagger?
No.
24 will hit the target for another 13 points of damage.
Am
Not
I
enough.
flanking with this one?
I don't... No, you're not flanking, because even if we did allow it with Liderosa, she's flat-footed, so she is not threatening yet.
Correct.
And she had a bow out.
That's also
Fair.
true.
I didn't
So-
think. Yeah, she does.
Unfortunately, no. But you do deal some damage. Not enough to draw its attention, because Aaidan still dealt more damage than you. But
I'm okay with
it's
that.
going to lash out at Aaidan. See if it can roll higher than a 3 this time. Barely. That is a 10 on the die for a 21 total. He's not getting a charge bonus anymore.
It will still hit.
Okay.
AC
Aaidan,
20.
as this massive creature lashes out at you, you take 10 points of damage. Same damage as Tydell. 10 points of damage. Rolling 2s a lot on the damage die. And then it's going to try to grab you.
Mm-hmm.
That is a... Wow.
Yes. Wow.
That is only a 23 against your CMD.
So that will fail. The way this plays out, anybody looking at Aaidan. So Aiden's faced a lot of struggle. He's dealt with pain before. There is something unnerving about the way he responds to this. He does not dodge the attack. He just forces his way through it. He takes the damage, and as it goes to claw him, he simply just lets it kind of like rip through his skin instead of actually letting himself get grabbed. So he just kind of like tanks through the damage, and that's how he avoids it. And he seems unwavered.
All right. Some steely resolve.
Yep.
As we move on to Tydell, who is extremely wounded and will... Oh, he can't 5-foot step.
He can withdraw. No, he can't. Yes, he can. No, you can't in difficult
No.
terrain. Yeah.
He's
You
He's
can't
in a bad
withdraw in
spot.
difficult terrain.
Well, even if he could withdraw, it'll provoke pretty much no matter how he does it because this
Oh, 'cause
creature
of
has
reach.
reach.
Right.
So he is going to. Ooh, he is going to hold his bow out in front of him in a defensive position, and he is going to look to the others and he'll be like, I really hope that you can take this thing down quick. And he's going to just total defense. That's the best he can do. Because he's not flat-footed now, +4 to AC. At least give him a chance. If he gets attacked again, he at least has a chance. That's going to be his turn. Next up, it is Kieran.
Jessup doesn't go first?
I don't know why Jessup is showing up as an 11 on my initiative tracker, but I had him as an 18.
All right,
Because
we can just skip my turn if you like.
Tydell rolled a 22, though, so it will just go to Jessup instead of Kieran.
All right, guys, keep it together. Move action. Start my Bard performance, Inspire Courage once again,
Hooray!
Okay.
and then I will cast a level 3 spell.
What?
Ooh, and I'm casting haste right there on that intersection, so I will actually get everybody.
Right, so I believe with the text of haste, it is no single creature can be more than 30 feet from another.
Yeah. So it's like you'd have to look 30
Oh, I
feet
have
to
to
leave
choose one.
Bang, and then...
Okay.
So basically,
So it's 20. Well, let me make sure. I got
basically you can get Frampton, Aaidan, LaRosa, and Tydell. If you wanted to get Li Fang, you could not get Frampton, LaRosa, or Tydell. If
Yeah,
you
I'll
wanted to
go
get
for-
Kieran, your
I'll
best
just
bet
center
is
it
these
on
4.
Aaidan. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yeah,
So never mind,
your
I
best
will-
your best bet would be those 4 because they're all within.
Well, it's
distance of
mostly
each other.
Frampton and Aaidan anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
No
So
offense.
Frampton and Aaidan, you are now hasted and inspired.
Ooh, I don't think I have the haste buff in here yet. Can we get that in
But
chat?
don't forget though, at least with haste, you do get additional movement speed to help with difficult terrain.
Yeah, what's the haste buff?
I got it.
Yep. As he writes that
Just
down.
got it.
Well, I was going to, but
I don't
You
think I
can-
have the speed bonus in here though, or is that something you just remember?
You can put in the speed
yeah,
bonus.
you can put in the speed bonus, but I just remember it if you can.
I think I
Kieran-
started haste, but it didn't. I don't have it saved. I'll grab it.
Kieran, you will go after Jessup, and yes. So haste is a +1 to your AC, +1 to your attack rolls, and your land speed doubles up to an extra 30.
Will that stack with my heroicism, the attack rolls, or not?
Yes, because it is not a morale or anything. I think it's an untyped.
It is untyped.
bonus to your attack, so it's just an extra
Nice.
+1 to your AC and to your attack rolls.
And you
pretty
get
much.
an extra, what is it, plus?
And you get an extra attack when you do a full attack. You get another hit.
And it's
Oh.
plus 40 to your movement speed?
It just doubles your movement speed up to 30. So if you have a 20-foot speed, it goes to a 40.
Right.
If you have a 30, it goes to a 60. So that's how haste will go. And Kieran, you can cast lightning bolt on Frampton.
Yeah. All right. So Kieran doesn't get the benefit of the speed, so I'm gonna move my full complement of movement to get to here.
Okay.
So whatever you have to roll to see if I
Okay.
don't
And
make it
you-
or whatever.
And you didn't have to move through any threatened squares to get there.
I don't think so. I had to go in a straight line.
Right.
So
Um,
I think that I would have gone from here to here. So I think I stepped into
Right.
threatened range, but
Okay. And your AC, so you're, I presume, wearing boots or shoes of some kind.
yes, I am.
Your AC minus shield, armor, and deflection bonuses +2. What is that?
Okay. Shield, armor, deflection, 19.
What?
Oh, I guess mage armor's a
Minus
shield. Or
those.
an armor, sorry.
Don't count
What?
armor. Don't count shield. Don't count deflection.
No, I forgot mage armor was
So it's basically your AC plus your dex.
Mage armor is
Pretty
a
much.
shield bonus?
plus natural armor.
Plus natural armor, yeah.
Alright. So 10 plus 1 plus 2
Mage armor's an armor
plus
bonus.
2,
Josh.
15.
Yeah.
So 15 AC. Okay, so my attack bonus on a caltrip is a +0, so I have to roll a 15 or higher to hit you. How many squares did you move through?
3.
3. Okay.
3 outside of half. Because I had to move 6 squares to get there.
You did this movement as a single move action?
Yes.
So it would be each of those squares. Because you're moving full speed through all of them.
Oh, right. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
So the first one I rolled a natural 1, second one I rolled a 19. Okay.
Wow.
So you take 1 point of damage,
Okay,
and your movement is halved.
great. So I can't get there.
Not
Can you
in
get
a
affected
single move
again,
action.
or as soon as you're affected once, that's it?
The movement speed, I don't think so, but the damage, I believe.
I
Natural
don't
2,
remember.
natural 3, 12, and 17. So you take 1 more point of damage. So you only take 2 damage.
No,
But
your
you-
movement speed's quartered.
I don't believe so.
So it would have been. So if I did it that way, I would be stuck. I'm so confused on this. All right. So I moved 5 feet, and then
Yep.
from there, my speed is halved.
Well, so you moved 5 feet. That was fine. The next square you moved into, you stepped on a caltrop.
Okay.
So from there, your speed is halved. So that was 10 feet of movement. So you have another. So your normal speed is 30, right?
Yeah.
So you spent 10 feet of movement. Your speed is halved, so you have 10 feet left from that square.
But that's basically just 1 square.
Diagonally, yes.
No,
You can make
'cause
one
she
more
already went-
diagonal.
Because she already went diagonal once, so this would. So she would have 2 squares from that position.
So she just started here.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
5 feet. So this would actually be 15 feet.
correct.
So the other 15 feet is halved, so you only want 1 more square. So you could move there still, but you can't move more than that. I mean, you're still within 10 feet range. You can still hit him from that square.
I wasn't trying to hit him. I was trying to do something else. So I'll just
Oh, okay.
stand there and I'll cast lightning bolt right in front of me.
Okay. You
Right there,
cast lightning bolt. It hits everyone. No, just kidding.
6. Oh no, it's a reflex save. 16.
Reflex save. This thing's reflex as a huge creature is, well,
Oh wait,
it's
that's not right.
better than I thought it would be, at least.
I bet it has evasion.
No, it does not. Its fortitude save is killer. I rolled a natural 1 for a 7.
We
So
are.
it fails, regardless of what your DC is.
Okay, sorry.
The
This is
level we are.
wrong.
Your level 7.
Yeah, I had that my caster level was 7, so it rolled an extra d6, which it wasn't supposed to.
Let's knock off
So-
the last one.
Right,
yeah,
because your
subtract
caster level.
2.
Subtract 2.
Subtract 4. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
because Inspired
Yep.
Courage does
25.
not apply to lightning.
Yep.
25 electricity damage.
So it's actually subtract 5 because you're adding 7.
Right.
The modifier
Yeah.
7, so it should be plus
24.
24. And it failed its
Electricity.
save, so it takes the full 24. Well, that certainly
Help.
drew its attention. So that brings it. That's a lot. It's definitely wounded now. It's still up, and it is super angry. But
Yeah, so basically, like, Kieran does the same, like, hand gestures that he would for Shocking Grasp, but this time he adds just a little bit of a flourish at the end, and the electricity actually leaves his hands and just shoots straight out in front of him. And for a moment, like, everyone that's around is, like, blinded as this searing, like, blue light streaks out in front of him, and the dim light suddenly becomes bright light for a split second before you hear the crackle of electricity, and the crackle of electricity, the crackle of electricity.
In reality, it was just Kieran exposed his abs, and that was the blinding light.
Yeah.
So you are all blinded for 1 round, and the lightning bolt sets fire to the forest in a 120-foot line.
Oh,
First pops out. It was you the whole time.
It was you.
The lightning bolt sets fire to combustibles and damages objects in its path. If I was mean, I could say that something is set on fire, but you could have easily
The
angled
owlbear's
it.
fur.
You could have angled it so that it doesn't hit the ground at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, this owlbear roars out once more as it begins spasming from this electric shock, but it is still up, bringing us to Aaidan.
This is very anime. Okay? So imagine that the camera angle is here, right? We're looking kind of through La Rosa's eyes as the electricity crackles from Kieran, right? You see kind of, you know how like when you ever go to like a strobe light thing, the lights, and it is Aaidan switching from the, yeah, it's like a rave, exactly like a rave, Sarah, right? It's him switching from the bow. He puts that down, pulls out the great sword with two hands, and then now hasted. And I've always envisioned haste as having like, just like everything's got materials. I always viewed it as kind of like this white aura near your feet, right? That kind of like glows up from there as you get faster, right? And with supernatural speed, you see him blip between the moments of dark to make a 5-foot step there and 3 attacks, a full round action.
Okay. Roll your attacks. Okay, so we got a 24, which will hit, a 16, which will miss, and a 22, which will hit.
3 concealment coming right up.
So 2 concealment, you only hit twice.
So just
1 misses.
So
Oh.
the first attack, the 25 points of damage, does hit, slashes into the hide of this creature, but the second attack misses as it lifts up his leg and jumps to the side, and the third attack, you think you're on course to strike, but the darkness, the blinding lights, your slash just goes a little bit wide. 25 points of damage, though, still quite a bit. It did not like it, but it is still up.
very respectable.
This thing is beefy.
Would that be provoked from the owlbear?
No, I 5-foot step.
No, he 5-foot stepped.
Oh, right, because you got magical powers. That's right.
Yes. That brings us to Li Fang, who kind of mutters under his breath as he loads the crossbow and fires once more.
What an amazing contribution.
Gotta shoot in melee. Hopefully he's got precise shot.
He's unhappy about the caltrops. He's particularly unhappy about the caltrops. Natural 9, I don't care. His bonus is not going to be nearly enough to hit the AC of this thing. Let me just check. No. With a ranged weapon, no. That not even close. So he fires off an arrow and it hits the creature, but then just like bounces down, not getting through its plus 10 natural armor. Bringing us to La Rosa, who, for lack of options, will free action drop her bow, move action pull out her short sword,
Don't you dare.
and make an attack.
I hope
Her brother just got like wrecked by this thing. She wants it dead as quickly as possible. She yells out.
Get flanking now or not from that position?
I think technically with these kind of creatures, yes, right?
Yes, that's the tough one because like they're definitely flanking one of the squares. I don't know if you have to flank just a square or if you have to be on opposite sides of the target. Sarah, look that up for me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for her, but for Frampton it might.
Ramp?
Oh, okay. Well, natural 20 will hit her target.
Roll that confirmation and that
Would have been
concealment.
nice if the creature rolled a natural 20. A cocked die. Natural 6 will not confirm, but does hit. And she deals.
Did she roll concealment?
Oh, that's right. Wait.
She's an elf, isn't she? Or a half elf, so she can.
Yeah, she's a half elf.
So she'll have low
So
light.
she has low light vision.
Yep.
So she deals 4 points of damage.
Does that bypass its DR?
It doesn't have DR.
Oh, that's too bad. It should have DR.
It just has crazy natural armor bonus.
Yeah.
Top of the next round, we have Frampton.
Frampton. So how does this haste and attacks thing work?
You get another attack at your highest base attack bonus. So basically, you can click your rapier attack twice, and then your dagger once, and that'll basically be what it is.
Holy crap, baskets!
Take it! Take it! He's murdered! There's no way!
Okay, so those listening back on the stream, we've got a 35 with a 21 for a confirmation maybe, a 35 again, that's 2 natural 20s in a row with a 31 to confirm,
19s, but...
and 19s, yeah, and then a 30 on the dagger, which
Here's that heroicism, guys.
Yeah.
That's what he feels so empowered.
That's
this
what
session.
that's what it looks like.
Yep.
3 concealments, I'm assuming.
Not for him.
None.
Yeah, because he doesn't. He has dark vision.
Yes.
So. Okay, so when in doubt about whether two characters flank an opponent in the middle, trace an imaginary line between the two attackers' centers if the line passes through opposite borders of the opponent's space.
That's
Then
for
it is
small
flanked.
creatures. Is it the same for large?
That's just flanking in general.
That's also not Frampton. We've been
Yeah,
traveling
that's
with
in
Frampton how
general.
long, and you don't know who.
Yeah,
is.
I wouldn't say that it's flanking.
Nah, I wouldn't either.
Okay. So you wouldn't get
Yeah,
sneak attack.
it looks like it has to be opposite sides
I mean-
of the creature.
With, what, 55 damage? Does it really matter?
You don't know.
After how much damage this thing's already taken?
This thing has only taken 82 points of damage so far.
Is that it?
So, Frampton, you twirl with unnatural speed, like you've never twirled before, as your practice dance moves kick into play.
I do
and
the worm
haste
in the middle of it.
spell- Yeah, you attack, do a little bit of the worm, jump up, do it, attack, and your rapier stabs into this creature. Natural 19 for critical threat, 21 confirms for 24 points of damage. You slash out again, natural 19 critical threat, 31 confirms for another 25 points of damage, and then you bring your dagger around the side as you hit again for 30 for 6 points of damage, dealing a sum total of 55 points of damage, bringing the creature to negative 43 hit points.
Wow.
It's all
Wow.
Jessup, though. Let's be honest, guys. That was all Jessup. He's MVP of this encounter. Like,
I think your build,
The
man,
buffs.
being able to ignore concealment.
buffs.
I like the way this party complements each other with our strengths really well, as opposed to some other parties that I've been in. More than I think you realize. Like the fact that I can ignore Woodland Stride is a nice advantage, but it's only one thing my hero has. But you can ignore the concealment aspect, which is kind of like a nice, unique thing. But we all have a response to the encounter that I think is really cool.
Yeah, everybody contributed there. I mean, Aaidan did huge damage to the first and actually all three of the owlbears. He
All
did
three,
significant damage. Kieran got that lightning bolt off for a solid more than a quarter of this guy's hit points with that one attack.
Yep.
Frampton, crazy damage at the end, and Jessup, of course, over there enabling all of you to do this crazy amount of stuff.
The haste especially is really big. It's a shame my last one failed his concealment, but that would have been another 20 points there.
Yeah, the haste
Jason-
gave you another critical hit.
Yeah.
Jason now goes, now the Colossus owlbear comes out.
Yeah.
You
Now-
actually
Real
have
owlbear.
Now this one comes out. 30-foot reach.
yeah.
Okay. As this owlbear collapses to the ground, you are met with silence. The voice does not immediately respond to you. What do you do?
Now that we have another moment's reprieve, care to chat?
Meanwhile, Kieran's got spikes that went through his foot, and as somebody who has stepped on a rusty nail, doesn't feel great. So he's probably not super happy. So I'm gonna just try to roll heal on myself to see, but I
Nope.
don't do anything because it's a 9.
Jessup
DC 15.
goes over to what's his name there, the hurt guy.
Tidal.
Tidal. So he'll be trying to talk and entice this unknown creature to converse, but then he will
Yep.
walk over and give him a heal spell.
Yep. He got hit for 10 points of damage, so...
I was just gonna do a cure light because,
Okay.
no offense, he's an NPC. He doesn't deserve anything more than a level 1 spell.
I mean, you'll probably get most of his damage just with one casting.
Oh.
Yep, he's back to full.
Oh, to be level low.
Level low.
Level
So-
low.
Yeah, Tydell will look to you, Justin, and he'll say, "Oh, thank you for that. I thought I was going to be a goner there for a second." And then he'll look to Frampton and be like, "And thank you. That was incredible. I'm sure it completely forgot about me after the amount of damage that you guys were dealing to it, but still, I was fearing for my life there for a second."
Yep, Frampton, you turned the tides. I think after our little satyr incident, we're on the same wavelength here.
Oh, we're basically inside each other's heads.
Yes,
And
as scary as that is.
And as you guys are talking, you do hear that voice come again once more as it says, "What proof do you have? You say that you're not like the others. You say that you befriend the forest, the wood giants, the druids. I don't know you, but I have seen you trampsing through my territory, fighting the creatures here who are only defending their homes from intruders. What proof do you have that you're any different? Why should I believe that you won't leave here and continue your disturbances?"
Aaidan does not respond or engage with any of this conversation. He's kind of just staring at the owlbear they just defeated as he ceremoniously will begin cleaning his blade and sheathing it during the conversation.
Joseph's like pats himself, like trying to think if he can find any piece of anything that would help, but he doesn't think so. And he goes, I don't think I have any visual proof, but you have my word. Range is honor.
I do not know these rangers you speak of. I do not know of their honor. I have only seen destruction from your kind thus far.
Right.
And-
Well, what? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna. You can go on. I was just gonna say, thinking back to its previous words, I was gonna let everybody roll knowledge local checks.
Am I not mistaken? We have now at this point encountered the blight, correct?
You have encountered one pixie that was blighted. A blighted pixie.
And with the no enemy spell, we in game learned that information now.
Yeah. Yep. You learned a lot of pretty much everything about that pixie from that spell. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Frampton was just gonna say, right. Well, what kind of evidence would convince you?
Okay. Before I respond, everybody roll your knowledge local checks.
Knowledge
if you have
local, you said?
it. Knowledge local.
I don't have any.
Still feel heroic.
What about geography?
Local.
Okay.
I'll let you roll it
Okay.
specifically
Me specifically roll local.
as a native of Nirmathi.
So I can just roll
Native of Nirmathi.
roll intelligence basically.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, either you have knowledge local as a skill or you're native to Nirmathis. You can make this check. So, we've got a 19 from Frampton. We've got a 19 from Jessup. I assume that is including all of the bonuses.
Wow. Frampton, our bonuses are the exact same, and we rolled the exact same.
I told you we're in each other's heads.
Yeah, we are. What do you remember? What do you
And then a 16 with Aaidan. So, you think back to a previous previous words that it spoke. It mentioned green-scaled hunters. You think, is that talking about the troglodytes?
I did.
Green-scaled hunters that recently stopped harassing stuff. He's like, that's probably the troglodytes. The pale skins in shining clothing.
I know who they are.
You're
They're
thinking
Malthuni.
probably Molthuni soldiers.
Yeah.
That come through occasionally when they're.
I mean, this land belongs to Malthun, but that's fine.
Yeah, I mean.
Are
this
you
is
are
part
you
of
a
the land.
loyalist? An imperialist? Are you loyal to the empire?
And
I
then
just wanted to
the
get his reaction.
Fanged Marauders is almost certainly the Iron Fang Legion. So you're getting this sense that this creature has only encountered those three factions, and has probably never met a ranger. So whatever this creature is probably predisposed against your kind. And there's been a lot of back and forth, you guys addressing it and it addressing you. basically what this is going to come down to is a diplomacy check to try to influence this creature's opinion. It is currently
Indifferent.
Hostile.
It is currently unfriendly.
Oh, that's too bad. I would like it to
So
be
you have to roll
indifferent.
a diplomacy check to try to raise this creature's opinion to a certain point. So, everyone who attempted any sort of roleplay can roll to aid on this check. And you can either, you could roll separately, or you could everybody aid one person. It's however you want to deal with that. But I'll need a diplomacy roll.
In diplomacy.
I have
currently.
a -1, so I will roll to aid whoever has. Well, I'll roll to aid Jessup most likely, so I'll do that.
Okay. If you guys want to roll to me, I'm sure I have the highest
Sure.
modifier.
I succeed.
Or can you take 10s?
You can take 10s. I just rolled because I have a -1.
Yeah, so Aaidan and Frampton do both aid. Kieran, I think you did mention something, I believe. Do you have any intention to aid or no?
Well, I couldn't roll knowledge local or anything, so I didn't think I would.
This is just based on previous roleplay.
From
You
earlier.
you don't gain the insight about these different factions necessarily by default, but you can still roll to aid on your previous entreaties.
Okay.
So that's
I
3
didn't
aids.
with the 16. Did he learn that? Because
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was
a low DC.
Josh Allen
It
did.
wasn't terribly hard.
Yeah, I learned it
Yeah.
when you said it.
It was basically your characters definitely know this roll.
Yeah.
So I got a +6.
Plus 6 on top of whatever normal bonuses you have.
Alright, so I just added a temp 6 modifier to my perform oratory.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
That was a pretty bad roll, actually.
So, the way that this works is, I'll let you see what the skills are here. So, influencing the attitude of a creature, if it is unfriendly, the DC is base 20 plus the creature's charisma modifier. This creature's particular
Charisma 14.
charisma modifier is, if I can
Can you
pull
imagine?
it up here, a charisma 17. So that is a DC 23, right?
Yeah, so he succeeds by 10 or more, which means he succeeded by 5 or more twice.
For every 5 by which you exceed the result, it goes up another step. So the book gives me a DC. It says Diplomacy DC 26 to bring it from unfriendly to friendly. And
Super
technically you
friendly now.
exceeded that by an additional 5.
So it's
It's best
that
friends
would-
with Jessup
yeah,
now.
it trusts us basically.
It would bring it to helpful.
Yep.
Under normal circumstances. However, this creature is still going to be cautious because it doesn't know you, it's just taking your word. So as you guys are continuing your entreaties towards this creature, again, you don't know where it is, you see, as it kind of makes its presence known and the presence of others around it, you see the trees around you move into motion.
What?
As now you can all roll knowledge nature to identify the creatures. You might have a guess already, but knowledge
Ants.
nature.
Ants! They're looking for their women folk, but they just left.
We have a 12 and a 16. That is not gonna be enough to identify these creatures. DC 18. 10
Bards
plus
can
the CR.
take 10, right?
Wait, it's helpful now, right?
Oh. I forgot. I
So
could
literally
do that.
Jessup could just go, "Hey, what are you?"
I mean, you could if you want to. That's fine. But these 3 creatures, these trees basically animate. And I'll actually blow up the main one here so you can see it in more detail. Which button is it? Shift C? Yes.
Ooh, looks angry for some reason.
Oh.
So you can see it is literally a tree.
All right.
And as this tree kind of moves a little bit, making its presence known, it speaks out to you and it says, "Leave this place. I will stop the forest creatures from attacking you further. For now. But remember, this forest does not belong to you. The more harm you cause nature, the more harm nature will cause you. We trees have very long memories. Every one of your missteps and every one of your good deeds will be remembered. I will be watching.
Did it provide its name to us?
If you ask. Nobody asked.
I was
So it's-
going
we
to.
could
Yeah.
make
You
like
can.
a tree and leave. That's fine.
That's just its response to your diplomacy check, essentially. But you can ask further questions if you want.
We appreciate your generosity. My name is Jessup, and we are just part of a small party that is just trying to make our way through your wonderful wooded forest to just find another home where we can live in peace.
My name is Frond. I am a treant guarding this place. I have only met the ill of your kind, so you will forgive me if I am cautious. But I will give you a chance. As I said, I will hold off the creatures for now. I have not met these rangers you speak of, but if your word is true, and I do not see any disgrace or destruction towards the creatures of this land or the forest itself, then I will come see you again in time, and we may perhaps be allies against the true enemies of this forest.
So Aaidan, while that was talking, will have taken a moment to himself, and that owlbear that we just slayed, he actually kind of gives it a sort of ceremonial burial passage sort of thing, just to get some insight into his character, which might come out later.
Yeah, this is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
That reaction.
Yeah. I've thought about it a long time, how after the events of what happened prior, how this is going to react. For those of you who don't know, in Aaidan's backstory, he mentioned that he lost both his mother and sister to an owlbear attack, and this is that owlbear. But I think that he's moved past the point where vengeance does anything for him, and I think that he is surprised by the emptiness. There's no joy here, right? He doesn't feel better, right? His mother and sister are still gone. He still has a fight against Malthune. He still has a fight against the hobgoblins. Nothing's changed because this owlbear is dead. And that's the feeling he's dealing with. And so for him, nothing changes. He respects creatures of the forest. He only takes what he needs. He only fights in self-defense. He gives this creature, and whatever soul it might have, the same rights he would give anything else. And kind of a similar thing with Veld, like, he doesn't have any bitterness. There's nothing. He's apathetic. He's empty. He's lost the ability to care about it. And so that's how that concludes. And he'll go and walk towards the group of trees, if they'll let him, to get closer to talk to them. And it mentioned a true enemy, right?
Yep.
I'm going to allow Aaidan a bit of an insight. I don't know what that true enemy is. I know who it is that I fight. But I know that the forest is sick too. I saw the evidence of it. We encountered a pixie who... I don't know what this condition means. I understand it in a unique magical kind of way. But it was sick. But not just like a disease, like the forest had a cancer itself.
A blight.
That's... the blight is what you call it.
I know little of the blight. Myself and my kind, we have stayed as far from it as we can. But it is spreading. It has been spreading for centuries. Slowly. Constantly. Inching its way forward. And eventually it will consume all of this forest, and perhaps even the forests beyond. There is nothing that we can do except keep our distance and hope that we will not live long enough to see it reach our land.
There's nothing to be done.
There is nothing that we can do. And its branches kind of gesture to the trees around it. It says, the blight is insidious and uncaring. We can do nothing against it, except be corrupted.
He sighs.
Do you know where the blight is, or where it comes from?
The north, deeper into the forest, far deeper into the forest, to a place perhaps long forgotten, a place that even I do not know of personally. It was once a court of sorts, or so I'm told, but beyond that I don't know.
Court, what?
A court of Fae.
Do you think the Fae could have accidentally created this blight?
I do not know. They had cared for the forest millennia, until relatively recently, by my terms. By your terms, it would be many generations.
These other enemies that you spoke of, group of them, well, actually, he wouldn't know that, never mind. When was the last time you saw any of them come through?
The shining ones have not come for some time. The gray-scaled stopped appearing maybe a month ago. The fanged ones, I have seen them here and there for many weeks, months perhaps. But the creatures here have deterred them for the most part. I have only seen them in the distance, seen what they do. I know them to be enemies.
Well, to see how they're moving, is it any different than just walking through the Fangwood?
They walk here, there. I do not know from where they came. They simply arrived.
I can tell you this. What was his name again?
Long Frond. Actually a female voice.
Female.
I am just hard at doing that.
I was going to ask. Long Frond.
The female Treant dialect is much harder than the male Treant.
Yeah, I can understand that.
They sound similar.
But yeah, she's a unique Treant. She's actually considered a young Treant. That's why she's only large, not huge.
In this way, the groups that you mentioned prior, if they are your enemies, then that means that we share that in common. Do you know how we could stop the blight? Is there anyone we could seek?
The branches kind of quiver and shake, and the voice responds, I'm afraid I do not know. As I said, I am too young to remember any of this myself, and any stories that I have heard have long since been exaggerated. And even within those stories, the information is scarce.
I don't know what I can do, but like I said, I am friends with a druid. I don't know when the next time is that I see him, but I might be able to rally some support to fight the blight and save the forest. I aim to protect these lands from all that would threaten it. If I am able to do that to you, I don't know when. I have my own things to fight now, especially the greenskins that you mentioned. But could you hamper their movement? Have the forest work against them?
corrupt the trails, or perhaps send creatures against them. I don't need you to do a lot. But we're beat badly. And we need every advantage that we can.
Do not mistake my patience for an alliance as of yet. I will not send the creatures of my territory to their deaths, even if it is for a good cause. Not until I am assured that you can be trusted. And even then, I am loath to fight them unless I have to. If they come too close, we will fend them off. But the lands outside this forest are not our concern.
He nods.
Well, besides the whole nonsense with the Blake going on, is there anything that you guys need right now? Maybe we can help with? You know, because we're friends.
For now, you can leave. And I will watch, and then perhaps we will talk again.
Alrighty then, I bid thee farewell. And Jessup takes off his cap, does a little bow, and let's get out of here, guys.
The tree slowly bends forward, and then back up.
I too hope to gain your trust, and not ask too much of you. But I am in need of friends, and not just enemies. And he'll go to leave.
Like my Aaidan has just all grown up. So happy.
I was gonna say, if Nyari was here, she'd be like, "You've got a friend in me."
That's an old take.
Yep, and as you begin to leave this glade, you hear the voice coming from behind once more. It says, "I am friend to those who are friend to the forest." As you walk away. Just as parting words.
As Jessup walks by, he just kind of like doesn't know who's who, so he just says, "Hello, tree. Pleasure."
He's now talking to
Hello?
every tree he passes.
He just kind of like walks by and just. This
Hi,
is
tree.
the best force I've ever been into, for sure.
You're like Gimli in the Fangorn.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably send Urge over here. He'd probably love it.
Oh, Urge would have a field day. Don't send what's his name there.
Yeah, don't send the merchant.
Yeah, right.
Cut him down.
The lumberjack guy.
Yeah.
That
You
would
know,
not go well.
tree and wood is particularly supple. It's very good for construction.
He wants more rope. He needs more rope.
So,
I guess we just head back.
We leave.
yeah, you guys made good time getting here. And you can make just as good time getting back now that you know the way.
Not
So-
necessarily. I'm slowed.
Bye.
Unless somebody
I've-
wants to heal you.
Thorn in your foot.
Ah, she's a thorn in the side.
Yeah,
Go.
there's like blood
Technically,
seeping
she
out
is-
of his boots.
2 thorns.
Yeah.
That's
technically.
true. So if Aaidan...
Heal check.
I will...
Ah,
Hello.
Frampton.
Frampton runs over and rips it out of his foot.
He's like,
Jessup-
Nick,
Jess-
warn me next time. Don't just pull it out.
Jessup
like
gets
how-
ready to do actual healing stuff, like actual like medical stuff, and Frampton's just like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Kieran, I imagine Kieran's
He's still
like,
pumped up because of the heroicism. He's still pumped up. So
Well,
he's
they're-
like,
Yeah. You're
Well,
still
they're
probably
having
for an
this-
hour.
conversation. He's like sitting on the ground examining and like trying to pull on the thorn, but it's like really painful. So he's like, and then Frampton just runs over and yanks it out, and he's like, ah! It's like, I imagine when you put like a dislocated shoulder back in, it's
Oh.
like immediate pain, and then all of a sudden you're like, thank you, Frampton, but please next time warn me when you're gonna do that. That was really painful.
oh no. You gotta rip it out. It's like a band-aid. You just gotta go in and rip it right out.
I love how Kieran's a little frazzled about that. Just the other day, I literally jabbed a dagger in his arm to get a grub out.
I don't want to remember that, thank you very much. I think I was a bit in shock and adrenaline at that point.
Could you imagine if it was in your foot?
For that, Kieran.
And Aaidan's going to do his best to to properly recover whatever salvageable callus of his feet is there, and make it as less painful as possible if it's in a boot to walk on.
Yep. You're able to alleviate the condition. Still maybe a little bit of a sore limp, but otherwise can move fine.
Good thing those are taken care of. Hate to be infected and have to lose one of them. Then you would be a ranger.
No, I'd rather not. If I can avoid it, I like having both of my legs.
You lose both, you become the commander.
I suspect that when I finally meet the commander of the Rangers, it'll probably just be a talking head.
It's just a torso with a head, no arms, no legs.
You've got... Wait, what is it? You've got no arms! It's just a flesh wound.
It's but a flesh wound.
Alright, so... You guys make your way back to Misthome.
Just talking with the group
And,
as we're going through.
Yep, you're talking, and the other three with you kind of join in as well, and they note how impressive that was. They hadn't expected a owlbear of that size to arrive, and that was more excitement than they've had in a couple days at least. And with that, they will be promoted. So, Tydell
He didn't do anything.
He took 2 shots!
What about Lee Fay? He did nothing.
He literally did nothing.
Tydell and LaRosa can either become like a PC class, or they can become warrior level 3s. Doesn't matter, we can talk about that later, but that's something that will happen in the background. But you guys return to Misthome, and because of how quickly you were able to get there and back, you actually return before nightfall. It's only 4 o'clock in the evening by the time you show up. And Auburn is kind of waiting in one of the first chambers for you to return, and she sees you and she says, "Well, it's good to see that all 7 of you have returned. I assume it went well?"
It actually went kind of better than expected, Auburn.
And
Well, that's good news.
he'll
For
explain.
Tydell, though, he almost died.
Oh yeah, except for the part where Tydell almost died. That was pretty bad. Huh, Tydell?
I got some massive little gaping scars you can look at if you want. There's like 4 of them here. The thing was huge.
Well,
Just count it as initiation. It's something that
Jessup
we all
goes
have
to
to go
turn
through.
around and he holds his pants and he goes, "Do you want to hear the story about these guys?"
trust me, you don't. You can share your stories later, I bet.
A moment
Fine.
later, Tydell's like, "Wait, does this make me a ranger now?"
If you want to be, anybody can be a ranger, I've heard.
He kind of laughs.
They let you in and then runs away.
Worms away.
Just think,
Worms away.
instead of embracing the eternal black Tydell, you got a good story.
I suppose so. Not too many to tell it to yet.
In time. But Auburn, we met a tree creature. What was that, Jessup? I've never met one of those before.
So she did identify herself as a treant.
Oh, she said treant.
She said, "I am Long Frond, a treant that guards this forest."
So he'll tell her as much and then be like,
And we slayed a few owlbears, but moreover, the treant told us that for now, she will not send the forest creatures to attack us. But we're not exactly on perfect terms. Have you ever heard of something called the Blight?
I'm afraid not. I've not spent much time in the Fangwood for a number of years now, and I mean, even when I was active with the Rangers, I didn't go too deep in. I've heard, I believe Theros mentioned it on occasion, but I only met him briefly before he left us.
he'll nod.
I do not know a lot about it either. I think that Erastil has shown me a little bit. And I have enough to worry about already, but the treant brought it up. It is a problem for the Fangwood. She said that all of the Fangwood could be lost to it. I don't know when it would be when we take that on, but it's such trail.
She just responds. She says, "Well, I guess we can add it to the list."
Yeah, right. But for now, I think that we can make an alliance with him, and that is good.
Yes, any alliance at this point is good, regardless of who it's with.
And as nice as it has been to be back, I am growing a bit restless. I think that I am going to go to Fort Travale with any who come with me, and we'll leave tonight, to camp out a little ways out of Misthome, and try to get a head start. I think it is... Okay.
As she nods, she says, "If that's how you want to proceed, that's fine by me. While you were gone, Sirio mentioned interest in helping out if you'd have him. As long as he doesn't get in the way, he said. I'd offer to come with you, but I could provide support. I do have some healing, but if I ever got pulled into combat, I don't know how helpful I'd be. I'd probably just weigh you down more than anything. But I've not been there myself. Perhaps I could come and stay at a distance, and I don't know. But I'm sure almost anyone here would be willing to assist you. Those who are capable of fighting.
I hadn't considered that. Since we took care of the owlbears, I don't think that we will have to worry about the dangers of the forest so much. Just our other enemies, like the hobgoblins. Jessup has been doing a great job with magical healing, and I filled in a bit for the knowledge I have, but we don't have a lot. It might be helpful if you came up with us, actually.
Yeah, I had a nice little fancy dance wand, but these guys were reckless and fighting some fae in a bed, and it just kind of went all crazy.
Some fae in a bed.
I heard of the Great Battle of the Red Bed.
It's not a good story, alright?
It is the best bard story that I will tell for generations.
I would like you to save your tales for when
Aaidan and the Red Bed. He just keeps cutting you off.
You know what? Tell the story of when Kieran fights a dragon. That'll be good, no matter how it turns out, I bet. Sorry.
Not
Kieran.
have it be told if I die, thank you very much.
What an epic way to go out, you know? A blaze of glory. Literally. When I first met you, you told me you were a glory hunter.
Yeah, I am a bit still.
Well then, I assure you, you will attain glory either way.
I can see it now. We'll go to Fort Travale. The dragon will appear. Kieran will show him his washboard abs and gets a plus 50 to intimidate. The dragon flees.
Sirio pipes up and he says, "As far as I can tell, life is just a pathway to death. So, what better way to do it than going out with a dragon? Am I right?"
That is a bleak outlook, Sirio. At least try to enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I mean, you left mostly unscathed the last time you saw him.
I suppose that is true. I guess.
Aaidan does one of those dramatic cracks his knuckles kind of thing.
But, jokes aside, Sirio, I hear that you want to come with us too to Travale.
Hey, if you'll have me, I'm willing to come. Even if I have to be bait or a decoy, it's better than sitting here doing nothing.
I will have
There's
you.
not too much.
We'll take any leg up we can get.
Well, if a
Because of your
halfling's half of a
leg.
leg will do, then a quarter leg is all I can give you.
I think it will do just fine, and I will do my best to make sure that the road to your death is a long and winding one. He smiles.
I don't much care if it's long, winding, short, straight, as long as there's a good end to it.
Well, this escalated quickly.
I wonder, is there anyone else that might be helpful to take with us?
Sirio will kind of shake his head and be like, I don't know if I would. Just from what you've told me, I mean, unless you wanted more people to just kind of cause a decoy, I don't think I'd bring any of these ones here to actually join in on the fight in any meaningful way. I mean, your wood giant friend would be nice, but he seems somewhat pacifistic in my terms, and I don't think that crystal creature is going to be going anywhere. We can ask around. I'm sure Li Fang and the others would be willing, if you can find a use for them. It's up to you on how many of us you want to bring with you.
I think most of the skills that we need are outside of combat. Like someone with healing supplies or things like that. And I don't need to worry about food much. I can find it in the forest just fine.
If I'm being honest, I'd rather not. I've seen how civilians do in battle, and it's usually a detriment rather than an aid. I think they're better off staying here for their own good, and for our own good as well.
Well, hopefully we can make warriors of them yet. In the meantime, then, us and the rangers will go forward. You ready? And he looks to Sirio and Auburn.
They both nod, and they get their things around.
And I trust I'll be able to keep your company still? To Kieran, Frampton, and Jessup.
They're like, nah, just the three of them.
They did.
Oh,
That's
well,
not
you
how-
clearly don't
That's
need
not
us
how it
now.
goes, Aaidan. If I don't hear from you in a couple weeks, then we'll assume you got eaten by the dragon.
We'll be Plan B.
All right then. Yeah, like I said, my last party abandoned me. So really, if it's just me and the new rangers, that's fine too.
Yeah. So I guess next session we'll do A team, and then depending how that goes, we'll bring the B team.
Correct.
If we find someone else, then Brandon, Justin, and I could play the NPCs going along.
Yeah.
Okay, so the plan is to set out today, get as far as you can, and try to get to the fort quickly. Yes.
Yes.
I suppose.
Everyone in agreement? Any disagreement?
Yes. No.
What do we say, Commander?
I don't know about Commander. But that is what I think. And if you want to do it too, you can come with me.
Hey, I'm just along for the ride. I mean, just this morning you said you want to take things slow, and now we're already going back to Fort Trevelay.
I did think that I wanted to take things slow, but I feel better now that we talked to whatever her name was with the tree and
Long Frond.
long
The
from.
person.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I think that if she is cautious, it is actually best for us. If we can win trust, there is good to be there. And I know that the Misthome will be safer. So,
Glad to see that. Looks like you're all recharged there, son. And Frampton, you're just ball of energy.
Frampton jumps down, does the worm.
Real quick, Jason, does Vel have brute potion?
Yes. Yeah, there may be supplies here if you wanted to purchase some.
yeah, we would like
Yeah.
to purchase some wands.
What would you like to Okay, wands they don't
A
have.
wand
But,
of
like-
cure light wounds.
You guys
Veld
have money?
Veld has been brewing potions for Rena to use, and they've healed up pretty much everybody, so she has a few left over. I already rolled to see what she had in stock. She has 3 cure lights, 1 cure mod, if you wanted to buy those. 50 gold for each of those.
To be
And
300 total?
well, each of the cure lights are 50, so that's
Right, but then
150.
the cure
And then
mod
the
is
cure
another...
mod is 300.
Oh, 300. Okay,
Yep.
450.
And again, I think I might have said this before, but I'm kind of flavoring this less as like a monetary exchange and more like giving provisions to make the things sort of a deal.
Like
Just 'cause
have
that
Oh.
makes a little bit more sense.
providing
Because,
abundant
I mean, we have the
supplies.
money.
Yeah, you'll be deducting money like normal, but I'm just in my head I'm flavoring it as a less of a monetary exchange and more of a giving her the equivalent of sort of a thing.
Exchange
But
of
Alright.
for all intents and purposes, it's a monetary change.
Before we leave, Kining and the rapier.
How much progress?
Just curious, it's definitely been in like a day. Like she's clearly made that rapier.
Right, yeah. It's done. She's a master craftsman.
She's a 3rd level expert.
Who worships Droskar.
Yes. Which doesn't do anything mechanically.
Yeah. She's good in a forge.
She
Like-
stole it from someone.
She's very good, but she's still using mundane crafting. It's gonna take half a week at least.
Oh, this is unacceptable.
Because here's the thing, under the normal crafting rules, I think it would take a full week. But when I was going through her stat block, I specifically gave her a dwarf racial trait that halves the duration for mundane crafting. So in terms of mundane crafting, she's phenomenal. But, like, it's still gonna take multiple days.
Even if you did
fair.
crafts by days instead of by weeks. Craft checks by day.
Yeah, I can go into the math again after session and verify. And if we find by some chance that it is actually possible for her to have gotten it done in that time, we can retroactively say she had it. But I don't think it is. So at least for the rest of this session, I'm going to say that she's most of the way done, but it's not quite finished.
Does Frampton want to wait for it, or?
Yeah, you could wait a day.
I don't know. How does Aaidan feel about that? Like, I mean, obviously we want to go in as prepared as possible, and that would make a huge difference.
He shrugs his shoulders. If you bring it up, he go,
I forgot that you commissioned something with Kieran. I wonder how much progress she has made. If you want to wait for that, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it would make quite a difference in my ability to damage any enemies we might come across. So if we could wait,
We'll do the math
smidgen.
out of session, and I'll advocate that we do the check by hour, and we'll see how much progress we can make. Then, after a later determined amount of time, let's set out.
Okay.
Indubitably.
So you wait for however much time it takes the math to work out, which we will find out later.
yeah.
And so you can just mark off that you have another rapier. I can't remember, was it a masterwork that I said it was?
Yeah, it's gonna be masterwork.
Yeah, because she had like a regular one that she
Yeah,
was
and
working on.
she was adding it.
She was, doing some work to the one that she already had that wasn't in.
So you now have a masterwork rapier, very finely crafted. There are dwarven symbols kind of not drawn, but like etched or engraved. Not engraved, is the opposite of engraving. I don't know my smithing terms, but embossed maybe? I don't know.
I don't know.
But the symbols are on the hilt of the blade, and you can see on the pommel is the symbol of Droskar, denoting it as a holy or unholy weapon.
Oh.
It's mundane, so it doesn't do anything. But
Yeah, I was gonna say didn't mean anything, but all right, yeah.
But and yes,
Gives you a
after that-
negative level if you wield it.
It is classic for a rogue to wield a weapon of Droskar. That's kind of fitting.
Yeah, it checks out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
What does he care? Evil deity? Shrug.
Justin has gone a full 180 in his characters.
it's just a weapon.
I was gonna say, I mean, he still doesn't even know who the heck Droskar is, so I don't see why he'd care.
So
He's like, I don't know any dwarf gods. It's fine.
you guys wait a bit at Misthome for the rapier to be finished. Once it is finished, Sarah, have you already marked off for those supplies?
For the
you.
potions, yes.
Yes. Yep.
Um,
If you guys are staying another day, then Veld could have another cure light if you wanted a fourth one.
Yes, as many
Or-
cure lights as possible.
How much did the rapier cost? Is that just 300 and whatever?
320 would be what the rapier costs. And that one is a monetary exchange.
Yeah. Yes. Real quick before we leave, I'll grab all the fetch quests. So we've got rope.
Yep. You need to get some rope.
What other?
Rena wants a 6-leaf clover.
Okay.
No.
I'll look for one. Veld need anything? Incense.
Other than general materials for, yes, incense or materials for crafting potions.
Sure. Is there
anything
a
of that
bar
sort.
fight quest available? Does Jet need me to set a customer straight?
No.
Okay,
No.
okay.
She's actually pretty good at handling those herself.
I bet she is. Is that everything then? The merchants don't need some random obscure object that they think's gonna strike it big.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that the merchants would like to have, but anything that they'd ask for is nowhere in the Fangwood.
Sure, I'll accept the quest anyway. I'll tally them all up, and then I can just click off the main quest and side quests.
There was a brewery in Tamarin that I loved going to. If you could get me an ale from that brewery in Tamarin and bring it to me.
I will do my best to remember that. I'll jot it down in this quest log that I'll look at the end of book 6.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Okay, so
Okay, so real quick, I advocate that 2 Cure Light go to Aaidan, 2 Cure Light go to Frampton, the Cure Mod stay with Kieran,
I accept.
and then all 4 of us get a potion of remove fear.
I also accept.
How does that sound? Does that sound okay?
Yes.
Works for me.
When do you have to
Okay.
use a potion of immune fear? After you've already been made afraid?
Remove fear.
Yeah.
So the spell gives you a +4 morale bonus against fear effects for 10 minutes. So you'd want to take it beforehand. But it also counters and dispels the spell cause fear. So if that spell happens, then you could take the potion to dispel that.
and if you're
effect.
under the influence of a fear effect when receiving the spell,
Oh, okay.
you
So
suppress it for the duration.
if you're already scared, then you can take the potion and remove or suppress that
Yeah.
for 10 minutes.
Is that something you're able to do while under the feared condition? Grab a potion?
So the way that it would work is if you were frightened or panicked, you'd have to run away from the source, but as soon as you broke line of sight with the source, you technically are okay. And at that point you could drink the potion and return.
That's got some really strong drug vibes. Get out of
Yeah,
a dangerous situation, take a deep breath, do some drugs, get right back in there.
That's how it works.
Kind of a bad message, isn't it?
So, after you guys have gotten all of your supplies, you head out once more to Fort Travale, and with the various modifications to your speed, survival checks, you've been there before, you know the route that you need to take, you have magics that can help you. It'll only take you 3 days to get there, which is reduced from what I think it was originally going to be 5 days, and then you got Woodland Stride and all the other stuff. So 3 days journey, you guys make it back to Fort Travale. And I should probably look at the map and make sure that there's nothing wrong with it before I put you over there.
A huge dragon! A dragon! I swear I saw a dragon.
So you guys return to Fort Travale with Sirio and Auburn in tow. And which direction would you like to approach from? And if you are doing another reconnaissance, just let me know and I can just give you general information rather than going through all the steps all over again.
I think we're going to do another general reconnaissance. And I think the idea is that Auburn kind of stays back a lot. Maybe even more than a little. Just kind of she's an additional aid for between round healing and morale support, and kind of like when it comes up to, let's say we finally met a ranger finally, being able to use like, look, I know Auburn. No, really, look, here she is, you know, kind of situation to help as a social bargaining chip.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
Aaidan could just be like, no, I'm a ranger.
Oh, he
Greatest ranger.
most certainly will now. Yeah,
I'm totally a ranger.
yeah.
How have you not heard of me?
Yeah, no, it's just
I'm the faint ranger of Phaendar. My father was Father Nolan. He wanted me to be a cleric, but I decided I would fight for Nirmathis. So I trained with Auburn the Green. You probably know who I am. And he'd extend his hand.
You're like, you're awfully young to be the son of Father Nolan.
That's me.
I meant grandson, but you know, these things, the rumors spread. They confuse me with the great tales of my father and uncle, who are also famed rangers. Who you probably know.
So, you guys scope out the fort once more. You notice a couple things. One, that trapped bridge has been rolled up, and it's now basically forming a barricade on that little side. of the fort, so there's now only the 2 bridges that are an entrance. Scouting out the area, you see that each bridge has a pair of guards. If I can figure out how to
We should go
select them,
sneak you in the cave. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Nothing bad will happen from there.
No, probably not.
Yeah, so each bridge has a pair of guards. Are you spending basically that 4th day after you arrive, that whole day just kind of scoping it out, getting a good lay of the land?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, 2 guards on each bridge. They cycle out with another pair that comes from the building right here, where they originally came from, swarmed out of the one time.
Ping it again in the middle room.
Oh, am I in?
Yeah.
I'm on the GM layer. This one?
Yeah.
So another pair will come out, and they'll kind of cycle between those groups.
Do we approximate which time or how frequently in the day?
They swap out roughly every 6 hours.
Okay.
And like the top one will go to the bottom bridge and then go into the barracks and then back to the top bridge, bottom, and they'll just kind of, they have 3 cycles that they go through pretty much every 6 hours or so.
Aaidan's more diligent with me, making notations and sketching in a book everything that he sees.
Yep. And you do see throughout the day 2 figures kind of move about on the courtyard, doing manual labor, moving crates and boxes back and forth. Their ankles are chained together with a 3-foot long chain between them as they carry things back and forth. And they spend most of their time, it seems, in that main building there. Otherwise, not a whole lot has changed. Those are the main changes. The bridge and the guards are now standing inside the walls rather than outside like they were before. It is now up to you how you would like to proceed. We'll say that this is like the evening of that 4th day. You all come together and you can figure things out on how you want to approach it on that 5th morning.
I don't
Just
have
charging from the north,
Yeah.
just like we did last time. That went well for us.
I don't have the
What's
mental
going on?
energy to think and talk this out in character. What do we want to do for approach 2? I mean, obviously they are on high alert. I presume we could figure that much out, and that they are aware of our presence. Obviously,
It might not be a good idea. I really want to know what's in this little cave.
So, tracking around the outside in our way here, do we make note of any other groups of hobgoblins that have come to and from the fort?
There are fresh trails like about. You don't know
If it's patrols,
if that
or...
means that patrols have come to the fort and they'd be like, hey, stay here, we need reinforcements, or if they've just been going around the area. So it's hard to say whether the fort has been reinforced or if they are just down on manpower, having lost, I think, 7 soldiers and then the 3 rocks. You definitely don't see them around. So that's one major difference, is that this time you don't have that whole group in the middle.
Any evidence of dragon?
No.
Okay.
Not on that 4th day. You don't see anything in the area that would indicate it, and you don't hear anything during that day that you're looking around.
What about a feeling? Do we got like a bad feeling about it? If I were Han Solo, would I say, I've got a bad feeling about this?
Roll a D100.
Kieran has, it's like Spidey sense, but it's dragon sense. He can
48.
sense dragons within 1 mile.
Yes.
Okay. You don't have any particularly special feeling. I was gonna say if you rolled a 1 to a 5, I might actually give you like something.
Oh yeah.
But like it was a 5% chance that you just have some like nonsensical
A divine.
feeling.
Divine.
The Force.
I'm currently under the protection of a Rastal. We're aware of this.
Yeah. But,
We are?
yeah,
I didn't know
you don't,
that.
Yeah.
You don't have any particular feeling one way or the other. You do still see the hole in the tower near the top with the water pouring out of it. But you don't see or hear movement, at least during the portions of time that you're looking in that direction.
What do we think
group is our best approach.
Honestly, I don't really know. I'm not gonna be much use sneaking in. We're probably gonna draw attention no matter what we do, unless we want to try to go through that cave, but even still, that might just eat up resources, and it may just be a dead end. It's hard to say.
On that second day, did we get any more information about the cave? Last time we saw a shadowy figure, but we didn't get any further details. The whole day of watching, do we learn something more?
So you're probably not looking at the cave for the whole day.
Yeah.
You're probably maybe occasionally looking over in that direction. During the day, the cave is very dark. When it gets darker outside, the naturally lit phosphorescent foliage in there begins to light it up, and you do see shadows occasionally, but strangely enough, anytime that you're looking at that direction, you don't see the figure itself. Either it doesn't come out during the day, and at night it's too shadowed to see what it is, or something else. It's hard to say. But if you spend any time just looking at the cave during the day, you don't see anything in the cave during the day.
Well, we already brainstormed some things and some work to different amount. We can try another frontal assault, but this time with the dedication to see it through, some spells prepped. We can try to go ahead and with Sirio's plan, let him be bait and get them to chase a green cloaked guy as he runs off, and kill a patrol that pursues him and ambushes him in the forest, and try to whittle their numbers down slowly and slowly. That might not actually be a bad idea. We can do my Mission Impossible plan and set up a zip line from one of the trees and come in from the top of the tower. Other than that, I can't think of any realistic options, although Brandon, you did mention the cave. I'm not sure that hooks up to anything though, but I would be willing to explore that option as well.
And another thing to consider, of course, is you are now stronger than you were before, and even if they have been reinforced, they don't have those 3 people in the center courtyard and their rocks.
Yeah.
So that's 6 less combatants than last time. You also do have Sirio with you, who can either be a distraction and draw their attention in a different direction, or could just aid you in the fighting.
He is a level
to a
5
certain
fighter,
extent.
so he's actually
Yep,
competent.
level 5 ranger.
Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, you could have him try to be bait. You don't know if they are on alert to the extent that they are now refusing to chase out of the fort, if they're that defensive, or if they are still very aggressive, hunting down any sign of trouble outside the walls.
Do we get a better sense of the total number of combatants, or do we find any gruesome, down in Phaendar, they've got all the hanging bodies and the gallows, and they've got the spiked skulls on things. Do we find any gruesome architecture?
You don't see any bodies adorning the courtyard or adorning the walls. Give me one perception check though,
to summarize the events, basically.
This is for a particular thing that you could have potentially noticed.
I will tick on Goblinoid, or do you take it
No.
off? Take it off. Forest, yes, because I'm in the forest.
Yeah,
Technically.
sure. Yeah.
Technically. Haste, Inspire, Courage, no, and just a regular old Perception.
Yes.
What's your face? I'm sure Frampton can roll one too if you would like.
Anybody who's scouting around can roll a perception to notice this. So Frampton, I will give you the Canny Observer for an 18. Aaidan gets a 21. Aaidan, you'd be the only one to be able to notice this with a 21. You do see what appears to be a leg hanging outside, just at the lip of the cave.
Is it a halfling leg?
Like,
It's not just a leg, it's connected to probably a whole body or most of a whole body, but you can only see part of the leg. It's still dark in there, so it's a hard thing to notice in the distance through the darkness.
Stapled
Because
to
unfortunately,
the ceiling somehow?
no, it's not on the ceiling, it's just on the ground.
I see.
It's just like a leg on the bottom of the cave, a little bit further in, so it's hard to see.
If he focuses on it for a little while, skin color or anything?
It's got a boot on it. It's not an exposed.
It's got, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with that information... No, and we didn't figure out about how many there are. We didn't count.
You've definitely seen 6 individual hobgoblins cycling those patrols.
Yep.
North, south gate, and then 2 inside the building. You don't know if there's more in the building. You would have seen one other hobgoblin walk out with a feline creature next to it, some sort of cougar, leopard, forest cat of some sort, next to what appeared to be a female hobgoblin form, flanked behind by maybe 10-15 feet by 2 other hobgoblins that look very similar, just kind of walking behind that first one. So that would be another 4, and they would walk. You would have seen them walk from the main tower out into this building.
Did we see the lady who had come out later at the end that we got the successful suggestion on?
You do not see her, no.
She was executed for failure.
We can hope.
Wouldn't you like that to be the case?
I mean, I'm feeling the feeling that we're a lot stronger now. We're knowing what we're going to fight.
Oh, and by the way, those 4 people went back into the tower after some time.
Yeah.
I'd say a frontal assault's probably fine.
The only other thing I can think to do is to draw a few out, take care of them, and then come back.
That's
later.
not a bad idea either. I do like that. Kind of worked for us back at Camp Red Jaw or whatever.
Yeah,
So
I'm thinking about employing some similar tactics, kind of split up the combats a little bit.
I get it. You want me to go do the worm in front of the gate till they come chase me?
That
Got
would be
it.
ideal, and then from there we can
Lock.
lay ambush. How's that sound to Jessup and Kieran? And your
Yep.
cat?
Kieran has
we're
an
part
animal
of this
companion
campaign.
now.
Yay!
Okay.
Okay.
So I think that's what
And
we'll
are
do.
are you taking Syria with you to actually fight?
Yeah.
And are you taking Auburn with you as well, or leaving her further behind?
Leaving her a bit out of danger.
Okay.
So she can
Okay.
be present for the initial ambush, but I don't want her to go into the fort, basically.
Yeah, so we'll say that she is 60 feet behind where the map is.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to get to her, you could do it, but it would be like a double move off the side of the map. But she's around that far.
Within
Okay.
earshot, too, so that when we give her the all clear, she can come on
Yep.
up and be
And which
dramatic-
direction are you coming from? North, south?
The south, I think.
South. So same entrance as before.
Same as before.
Okay. And how are you performing this? Are you all going to be on the tree line and one person come out? Or are you all going to bust out at once?
I think the best way would be to have one person be like walking, like or faking being an injured ranger, like hobbling up to Trevale, and then seeing the hobgoblins, realizing an oh shoot moment, and then kind of like running away and hoping that they chase him, sort of idea. You get what I'm saying?
Who are you having Sirio do that, or one of you want to do it?
Just see volunteer.
He's on board if that's what you want him to do.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
He does have a slower speed than any of you. He's willing to do just about
Sure.
anything, but he's a halfling, so he has a slower speed by,
Hey,
by
Kieran.
nature.
Just out of curiosity, it's may about the entering combat here shortly. Do you think mage armor might be something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, I was gonna say, but there's a lot of talking that preparing for this, I would have had that on.
Just want to make sure.
What does Sirio use? Does he use a bow and arrow?
He is a halfling sling staff.
sling staff, so he can do both. He's also a bit of a switch hitter, then, right?
Kind of.
Yeah. So you can sling with like bullets, is how it works.
I think they're called bullets,
Yeah,
but they're not like
bullets.
bullets.
They don't resolve against touch, but they are bullets.
No,
They're probably like little shot pellets or something.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and then he can also use it as a just regular staff to hit people.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Sirio volunteered. He said he'll go on a blaze of glory. An arrow to the back is probably just as good as anything.
Yep.
I didn't really even say that.
Yeah.
In character.
Okay, in that case, place yourselves on the map where this would be occurring so that you are in position as you would like to be.
Can we give us approximately 40 feet of fictional? Like, I want to be 40 feet off the map a little bit, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because the edge ends here. So I'd like them
Right.
to pursue us a little bit into the forest. So can we make like a little like a
Yeah,
one of
you
those
can put yourself
40
on the map and then we just kind of like
feet?
envision you being further back.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to get general positioning.
And let's,
See, I have a bad feeling this isn't going to work out because I feel like this is what we had tried to do the last time and it didn't work.
no, we were
No,
just,
last time we tried to
just charge and fight.
well, we tried to have Jessup I don't know,
To do
mind
something.
control, whatever it was he tried to
Fascinate
do.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which did not-
I don't know. I get the impression that they're like going to take a defensive position and I don't know if they're going to take the bait, but we can try.
If they don't take the bait, then Sirio can say some funny insult, and it'll be good. And if then they take the bait, then we're in business. If they don't, then we can just do a full assault and just go from there.
I was almost thinking, and I know it might not be the best idea. Jason's probably fine with it, but we split the party.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
have some attack from the north.
What's the worst that could happen?
Nothing. Nothing bad could happen.
What
No.
could possibly go wrong?
No, you know exactly what will happen. If you'll turn your attention to the courtyard, enemies will come out of here, right? We're all gonna be. There's gonna be 2 of us over here, and maybe 3 of us down here, right? And now we're split with a big enemy, and it's gonna be really bad.
And the dragon's going to conveniently come
Yeah.
back right at that moment.
And even if you guys came up and
land
we think,
here.
you know, that we're gonna have like this kind of like crazy like, you know, corner room situation, I'm not excited about the bad guys coming out of here. So it's all just bad. So let's
And it doesn't help that Aaidan's probably just going to run away anyway as
Right,
soon as
exactly.
we enter combat.
that would
so
be classic.
essentially, it's only 3 people that are going to be engaged in the combat.
Yeah, classic Aaidan. So this is the danger zone down here. So I don't like that. But I don't know.
Protect the commander.
I've been wrong before. So whatever you guys think is good. That's fun, by the way. I should do that more often. Just sketch little battle plans. So what if we did
So-
this?
Are you going with that plan or are you changing it now?
No, I think we're. I mean,
No. We can stick with the
Okay.
plan.
Sirio wanted
you
to
guys
make
position
himself useful.
yourselves.
So
You guys position yourselves. Sirio gives you a nod and a wink as he walks out onto the trail, begins making his way forward. And he goes to about there, so he's easily within sight. These 2 hobgoblins notice him. And they're too far away to hear, but they kind of point in his direction and see him and start saying something. The one steps here, and you see him reach into his pocket, pull out something, which he then tosses at Sirio's direction, as a small stone lands right in the square in front of Sirio and explodes with a thunderous noise. And that's when we would roll initiative next time. And Sirio's going to have a thunderstone in his face, so that's going to be fun.
cool.
Oh boy.
Still get a -4 to his initiative and a minus
If he fails,
something
I think.
to
I don't know.
perception. No, I think you get the initiative penalty no matter what.
Yeah, fortitude to be deafened.
Yes.
A deafened creature, in addition, takes a -4 penalty. So if he makes the save, he should be fine, I think.
Kermit loves those.
So hopefully he'll make the save and run away.
Hopefully, yeah.
Zero, come back.
Probably.
What?
Well, we'll see. We'll see what that does. If that is their alarm, and if they are then going to sally out, or if they are going to stay where they're at. We'll see. We'll see.
I think I've made peace with my decision.
We'll see.
I've still made
Ominous.
peace with it.
We'll see.
Everybody who tuned into this stream or is listening to Spotify later, thank you for being here. It has been a couple of weeks since we've been able to put one out, so I hope that you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun playing. I apologize for the very bad audio issues at the beginning, but I believe that I have now, finally, for real this time, gotten everything sorted out, so hopefully that will
Audio
go
issues
on.
with Josh, not with Sirenscape.
Yes,
Same.
correct. Sirenscape
That's
has
fine.
always been perfect. Josh and his OBS skills and getting up to set the stream up on time, not always so perfect. But otherwise, thank you very much. A good night to each of you. I will see you next week.